I'll just dab
You
it.
will.
I'm just
The reason why you will care about it, Mars, because this is the same dude who said Gregg Popovich can't win without good players.
Yeah, I know of him. He's not exactly the
That's who
sharpest.
this dude is. He's the same dude that said Gregg Popovich can't win without good players. And usually when I'm in a debate with you, Mars, or I'm in whatever kind of argument I'm in with you, when you get me, you know what, Mars, you're right. Mm-hmm. He wants to keep going with it. And the basis of his argument with Gregg Popovich not being able to win with good players was he can't do it now. So we'll start the conversation from back when he first got the job in 1998. I mean, in 1998 when he first got the job, where he's got Jaren Jackson on the crew, who's been on 7 different teams before he got with Gregg Popovich. He's got Mario Elie, who's on team number 5 when he gets the job. Let's see who else is on the crew. Jerome Kersey, who's on team number 7 when he gets on that crew, right? He's got Avery Johnson, who's his starting point guard, who the Spurs cut, brought back, cut again, then brought back 3 different times. So, and by the way, Avery Johnson, who's their starting point guard, he's on team number 5 when he gets there. So he takes this group, in addition to David Robinson, who was a shell of himself at that point, he had back injuries, right? He takes that group and they win the NBA championship. Then fast forward to 2003 when he gets Tony Parker, who was in year 2, when he gets Steven Jackson, who was on his second team and came right out of high school. He has no idea what he's really doing. Ginobili, who's just got to the league. Bruce Bowen, who's 30 years old, and I think he was on year 4. He takes that crew with Duncan, and they win the NBA championship 5 times. So now where he is now at this point, he's not winning with the players that he has. So essentially what you're asking Gregg Popovich to do it again.
Yeah, just do it again, man.
That's essentially what you're saying. Do it again.
Because
it's obvious that he could do it because he's done it more than once. So do it again. That's essentially what you're saying. So you telling us that he can't win without good players? That's completely and totally false. But anyway, I digress. Damo, the floor is yours, brother.
I got you. This is just for anybody that don't know, Chill was talking about Rashad McCants. And I know, listen, the NBA world, if it's not in the uproar now about it, when they hear about it, it's gonna be a thing. Yesterday, I want to say it was Patrick Beverley goes on to Gilbert Arenas' podcast to address some beef he had with Brandon Jennings and Rashad McCants. Now, him and Brandon Jennings, they had a conversation on pod. It's all on the camera. Had a conversation, had a disagreement, squashed it, settled it. They were all good. He gets to Rashad McCants, and apparently the story is they had a workout back in 2010, 11, 12 for the Lakers.
Hold on, Damo, right quick. What was him and Brandon Jennings beef?
So basically, Brandon Jennings, I want to say
Pat Bev seems like a guy that has beef with 80% of the players in the league.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like it, but that's his. And listen, I'm a Pat Bev hater, so the fact that I'm sitting here defending him irks my soul. But it's crazy. But him and Brandon Jennings, it wasn't really beef. It was just, Brandon. I'm not gonna say he has an ego, but he has confidence in his game. And Brandon Jennings was a dog. And Pat Bev, he made a name off of being the dog killer. Like I kill dogs. I guard everybody. So they was basically going back and forth about the times they did play. And Pat was just like, listen, I feel like basically when you played me, it wasn't easy. You had to get your good night's sleep before you played me. And Brandon, and it's funny because Brandon went through the cycle of, I don't know about all that, to basically, when we played, I had like 8 points, 7 points, the 3 times we played. So broke him down. And Brandon was cool about it. They talked about it, pulled the stats up. It was all squashed. They was all good by the end of the episode. But it was basically just, when you played me, you had to get your sleep. You had to make sure you got your breakfast, your lunch, and your pre-game meal. Like, you had to get ready for me. Brandon was kind of throwing it off at first, but then was like, nah, all right, you got me. You were a tough assignment. I'll give you that. Him and Rashad McCants, it started with, I don't if everybody's seen Cat's comments about when Jokic and him won a championship, him saying him and that playing Timberwolves team with Pat Bev, oh yeah, we had the aura about ourselves. If we were together longer, we could have did this, that, and the third. Everyone said they were clowns for that. Everybody was like, yeah, I don't know about that. Rashad McCants basically had that sentiment. He didn't like that. So Gil comes on his podcast he addresses Gilbert Arenas. He's like, yeah, y'all need to watch the whole context. He was basically breaking it down. Y'all need the context of why we said it, what we said, this, that, and the third. And McCants saying what he said, I don't respect it because I made him quit in the workout. Like, I don't got nothing to worry about. I made him quit in the workout.
So basically, why are you talking to me? There's no reason for you to even be talking. I already dealt with you. Okay,
anything you saying doesn't matter because I made you quit in the workout. Don't matter. Right. So fast forward till yesterday, Pat comes on to Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and they address the situation. What irks my nerves about the situation is not the fact that McCants recanted his statement, flipped his story around multiple times, and all that. What pissed me off about it and why I was adamant on talking about this, and we can show the clips or whatever, but the reason I really want to talk about it is because it was such a hoe-ass move to sit up there in that man's face and pull they opened the door for me. You had to work hard. I ain't have to work hard to get to the NBA. You was overseas. You had to do all the dirty work and do all the hard little stuff to get there. I was giving it. One, how many years did Rashad McCants play in the NBA?
3.
Like 4, 3.
He was on the Timberwolves for like 3 years. That's all I know.
And where was he at after that?
0. Nowhere.
Not in the league. I know that.
So for you to sit there, and again, I'm a Pat Bev hater. I will admit it. I don't care. But for you to sit there and look that man in his face, one, after he exposes you for waxing that ass on a workout, and you had to leave early because you got hurt, because you couldn't handle Pat Bev in 2010, for you to sit there and just try to big bro ego him is whack as fuck. For you to sit there and try to demean somebody for putting in hard work to get where they at, and you want to praise motherfuckers gifting you opportunities, that is some soft ass. That is the shit that pisses me off the most. I don't care who it is. I don't care who you are. The fact that you want to sit there and have this aura about yourself, just, hey, I was a champ at UNC. They drafted me in the first round. I got to the NBA, no sweat. What did you do? Motherfucker, he's still in the league. That's what he did. He's not out the league after 3 years. He worked hard to get there. And I don't care who you are, if I like you or not. I can acknowledge you putting in hard work to get where you at to make your bread to feed your family. So for you to sit there as a grown-ass man, look him in his face and try to little bro him and big ego him when out of everybody on the damn panel, you have the least to fucking show for your career, that shit pissed me off. And I'm not a nigga that's a pro basketball player. There's plenty of niggas up here that's hooped overseas and did more with the game of basketball than me. But I definitely put work in. And I cannot respect the man that's going to sit there and demean somebody who put work in for their career that just, they rolled it out for me and you squandered your opportunity. Right. That's whack, bro.
You seen the thing with Rashad McCants was where he lost me was with the one episode with the young lady that be on the show. I can't remember her name right now.
Trying to big time, huh?
Because they were talking about what the difference between a leader and the best player. And I think a lot of y'all know how I feel about that. I spoke on that, where the best player is not always the leader. But if you don't have a leader on your team, the best player should step up and do that. But that's neither here nor there. I don't like how he was trying to tell her, well, you never played in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, I do believe there are some arguments when you have to play the game to understand, but that's more so like in the game, like understanding different coverages and whatnot. But stuff like that, it's like any high level basketball player knows what it is to be a leader on a team, or knows how to point out the leader of the team. And she taught him herself, like, yo, I was the main person on my team ever since I started playing basketball. You have never been the main person on your team at any professional level. And, that really pissed him off. So you can see he got ego issues, you know what I'm saying? I don't really support much of anything Rashad McCants has said on that podcast.
Hey, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. And I do want to say, like, Rashad McCants did have game coming into the league. And he was highly touted. Y'all remember him at UNC, right? Rashad McCants was the truth. But this is a simple case of, and they always say it, hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. And it's simply one of those, and you just can't be mad at it. And this is actually one of those cases, regardless of how you feel, and Damo just said it, where you got to respect Pat Beverly. Because Pat Beverly wasn't the most talented player coming in the league. He doesn't have the prettiest game. He doesn't have the best reputation behind him. But one thing you know about Pat Bev is when he steps on the court, he's going to work like a dog every second that he's out there. And that's just one of the things you got to respect and love about Pat Bev, if you could find some love in your heart for Pat Bev. But chill, while I'm pulling up this video, what was you about to say?
Oh, I was just gonna add to Damo's point. So basically, Damo, it started with context. Like, let's make sure that we get to the bottom of context. Like, we ain't just talking. Like, we know where the story started. That's number one. And the biggest issue that I had with McCants was he was up there flexing, essentially saying, "Yeah, Damo, the only reason why you took my lunch because you was hungrier than me. I wasn't really that hungry, but you just took my."
Yo, that's crazy.
You just took my lunch because I wasn't really that.
The only reason you took my girls because I ain't really even like her.
I actually did like her, but you liked her more. That's the only reason why you took her. That's the only reason why you got her, because you liked her more than I did. So I was already fly before you even showed up. I was already that dude before you even showed up. That's how I got the girl. And the only reason why you took her, because you wanted her more than I did. Man, get your ass.
That's the lamest stuff, bro. Go ahead. My fault, Bob. Go ahead.
My shit was off topic. I was just gonna say W FIFA boy for that super chat, L Ron. But go ahead, Damo.
FIFA boy, we don't get into that. We got invited to an after party with Drake, and I guess it's on me that we didn't get there. But we'll talk about that later. FIFA boy, I'm trying to figure out who you are and how you even know this story.
Because FIFA boy watched the morning show. You know, I got that morning show no snooze button.
Oh, so you was snitching.
I wasn't snitching. I wasn't snitching.
You found out, Ron.
Chill.
How you think you found out? I said this to you when I seen you. That's your man. That is your man right there. Okay.
Shit, I wasn't snitching. Chill. I was just telling the story. You know what I'm saying? It's an early morning show. We needed something to talk about. I wanted the world to know that Ron is a L host, L friend. You know what I'm saying? We got invited to the Drake after party. They was in there smoking weed, spending money. It was ladies in there. You know.
They talk about it was packed from wall to wall with all type of curves and boy,
curves and curls in there.
I just think it's a ridiculous flex though. I think it's a super corny flex though, Damo, to say, you know, the only reason why you took my lunch is because I wasn't really that hungry. Even if that's true, like that's not something you should say, yo. You should probably keep that to yourself.
Never.
You should probably keep that to yourself, yo. That's not something that you should put out there. No, you shouldn't. And he's sitting up there like, I got in the league before you did. Just so you know, Pat Bev, like you just mentioned, not only is he still in the league, he's still visible. Like he's still playing important parts on other teams. It ain't like he just hanging on as, you know, the 15th guy like Jared Dudley was doing. He's not doing that. No, he actually playing an important part on teams that he plays on. He does get minutes and he does get run. You flamed out after 3.5 years, which is less than the average NBA career.
To sit there with the audacity and to say out of his own mouth, like on camera, in front of all those touted NBA players, in front of all that talent in that room. Yeah, man, you had to go 130%. I didn't. Nigga, what? You're gonna what? That was the most backwards, and this is a bunch of hoopers. So that's what threw me. You're gonna sit. I knew I wasn't tripping when I seen Kenyon Martin's face the whole time he was speaking. Kmart he was me in that situation. He sat there, looked at me. You had to go 130%. You had to go hard. I didn't. They gave it to me, and you lost it. You fumbled it.
That's probably why you fumbled it, because they gave it to you because you wasn't that nice. You weren't.
It's crazy.
You wasn't that nice, fam. I mean, you could go. Don't get me wrong, but you wasn't that nice. Give me a break.
I'm not even gonna question his game. I'm not even gonna question his game. Like at no point am I gonna question the game of Rashad McCants. I'm literally just questioning the fact that you can sit there as a grown man who hooped in the NBA, who's played basketball at the highest level possible, and you're trying to demean somebody for working hard. That is, I've never heard in all of my years, I've never heard anything like that. You trying to put somebody down for working hard, for hard work to get where they're at, and they've done it longer than you were able to do it. That's crazy, man. That is insane to me.
Yo, I got this video though that I'm gonna go ahead and play for y'all. So we gonna do that. And also, I do want to say to everybody out there that's mad at me because I didn't get us to that Drake after party. I really didn't even want to go that bad.
See, it's AA Ox. See, this is nonsense, Ox. This is what I'm talking about. when we talk about the rest of the crew,
really
how
wanna be
selfish
there.
people could be. Like, I ain't even want to go that bad. You ever think that I might have wanted to go? You ever thought about that? That thought ever crossed your mind? That maybe I wanted to go. Maybe the rest of us wanted to go.
I'm just channeling
But
my
you
inner
ain't want
Rashad
to go, so
McCants.
none of us going. Unbelievable.
I think I guess that's the way to go there. I'll just,
Damn, yo.
be like Rashad.
That's what I'm talking about, yo. Unbelievable.
Y'all let me know if y'all can hear this. Y'all can hear it?
No, you can't hear.
Nah, I can't hear nothing.
All right,
Can't hear none of that.
I got you.
Unreal.
That's better?
Mm-mm.
Still
can't
can't
hear.
hear it.
Man, what the hell?
Hold on.
I'll host.
First the Drake after party, now this. All right, that's better.
Oh,
Here we go.
We hear it.
There we go.
All right, hold on. Let me start from the top. All right, here we go. Y'all, it's a 2.5 minute video, but we're gonna watch this whole thing, so y'all just listen up.
Run it.
Happened between me and Big Giannis. We talked about the incident that happened in McCants. There was no lies detected on my end.
Mm-hmm.
Zero. I don't understand.
We just had it a second ago.
It cut out. The sound cut out.
Cut out. Mm.
We can't hear it now.
Yeah, the sound cut out. Oh, there it is. It's back.
I was coming from overseas. I should have been the one to pull something. You're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't though. There was no lies detected on my end. Zero. I don't understand what all the fuss is about. I said what I said.
I'm done talking about
We
it.
brought up his stats.
I think I'm done talking about it.
We discussed what we had to do. I had to do the same stretching. I had to do the same running. Like you said, I was coming from overseas. I should have been the one to pull something. You're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't though. That's a lack of being. That's a lack of being prepared and not being prepared.
Damn, that's what it is.
I don't know.
You just said it. You just said it out your mouth.
I'm just saying, but I got to
you
take
say
it.
I don't know, but then you say it.
I said it on my show.
Okay, yeah, it is the lack of being prepared. Okay, it is.
About the things I said on my show, no lies detected from 9 folks. Zero. I tell the truth all the time. That nigga quit.
Damn. I'm a quitter then. I'm a
And
quitter.
you can tell based on these conversations
I'm a
we was having,
quitter.
he didn't stand a chance because
It's obvious. It's obvious. 47%.
Because you was trying to fit in.
40. I was trying to fit in. You're right.
You was trying to let me in.
You had to kick the dough in. They opened that bitch for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe if you maybe you would have been
because when I came up, I didn't have to do all that shit.
I did.
Yeah, you did, nigga.
And I like it this way.
Remember that.
Then I can make
So you remember that, my nigga.
I like it.
I didn't get kicked out of the league because of talent, nigga. I haven't asked around, nigga.
I haven't either.
I ain't not make a team because I need to try out because they want to see if I was good enough,
That's what I'm
nigga.
trying to see. Why?
What the fuck you talking about, nigga?
What's going on?
It's 82-17. Wait, hold on, wait.
If he quit,
What the fuck you talking about?
82%.
I can't.
But we got a purpose with the chat. The bulk of the chat ain't shit. We have the
Hey, Mark.
We don't give a fuck about the chat anyway because they made me smoke. But it's 87.
I want to wear the crown. I want to feel how light it is.
Ooh, now we know where that energy is.
Yeah.
He wants what I got.
He wants
what I got. Did you see how he exposed himself?
Besides Marcus,
Hey, we done seen some motherfuckers go crazy.
You did this. You got
Some motherfuckers that went crazy over this crown.
Like I say, they did this. Everybody else, fuck them.
He said he wants that crown. We got a shattered backboard. We got a court with a shattered backboard.
He want to see how light it is. It's kind of light. I'm trying to get it too. I ain't even gonna
That's
lie.
the energy. 10-1. Nigga, remember that shit. You know you want to get
Last
Yeah, nigga.
It's kind of like the same.
Last question for you.
He warmed up for like 22
Here we
shots.
go.
Then-
Get the excuses.
I don't,
Yeah.
you know.
I want to wear the crown. I want to see how light it is. That's a fucking caption. I ain't gonna lie. That's a caption right there. Oh my god. I'm not even a Pat Bev guy. He got me out here faving Pat Bev right now. I'm hot. I'm mad. He out here dropping one-liners and making sense, bro. This is trash, bro. But yeah, that's crazy. Like you had to kick the door down. They opened it for me. What kind of? That's so soft, bro. I'm sorry.
Which would explain why he
That's so
trucked
soft.
you when he got in front of you. It's that simple.
100%.
Which would explain why he basically bulldozed you when he got in front of you. That would explain that. I didn't have to. They didn't kick me out the league because of talent. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They absolutely did.
You
Because there's
definitely
plenty of guys
to get off with that shit. I ain't gonna lie.
Right, because there's plenty of guys in the NBA who are supremely talented, and they got other problems, and teams will tolerate it if you are supremely talented and it translates. Prime example: Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace is a headache, but Rasheed Wallace is hell, and they will tolerate his nonsense. Why? Because he's damn good. You, on the other hand, no, they will not tolerate it. And you know why they won't tolerate it? Because you're not that good. So the logic that you didn't get kicked out of the league because of talent is not true. Because your talent wasn't good enough to keep you in the league, despite the nonsense that you had going on. So that's not
can y'all
true,
hear me?
sir. You hot?
Yeah,
yeah, we hear you.
All right, cool.
I'm just having a difficult time, Damo, with the logic of a guy trying to flex on somebody taking your lunch because you just wasn't hungry. And you making it sound like it's a cool thing. Like, the only reason why you eating because I wasn't hungry. The only reason why you took my lunch because I wasn't really that hungry. That's the most sucker nonsense I ever heard.
He literally says at one point in that whole little disagreement, yeah. And that's another thing that pissed me off. Oh, I didn't even need to work out. They promised me the spot, but they told me to come to workouts because they needed to see more film. I'm like, bro, what are we talking about? And then you get hurt. And they draft Pat Bev. Now, thank God we ain't signed him. But they draft Pat Bev for that last roster spot instead of you. And your response, yeah, I mean, you needed a nigga like me to get in the league anyway. Like, it takes a hater to know a hater. That's a level of hate I never want to get to. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to get to that delusional level of hate. That's wild.
So now we categorize the levels of hate, Damo. I'm liking this. I'm liking this.
That is delusion. That is a delusional guy, bro. I don't want to get delusional. I hate all day, but to be a delusional hater, I would never want to be that.
Yeah, Mars, do you have any comments on this? Before we played it, you said you probably wouldn't care about it. Has it raised the level of concern for you? No. Still no. Pirate, do you have any comments on the situation?
I mean, I'm usually not one for like the off-court drama stuff. It seems like it's a podcast where they probably want drama, and I don't know. It's funny, but it kind of I don't watch the show, but it kind of seems like is that McCants kind of role on the show to kind of be a goofball and say crazy things like it's.
But the difference with him is that he's actually serious with his stuff, though, Pirate.
But that's that can be good for a show. That's probably why I'm assuming that's why he's on the show. It's not his basketball career, so I don't know. To me, that kind of stuff is all fun and games, really. Like I don't know.
Like I recognize Mars trolling. Like I've been around Mars long enough to recognize his trolling. Like,
right.
So Mars, like for example, Mars asked me.
Sometimes.
Mars asked me. Well, sometimes I'm getting better at it. Let me say that I am getting better at it. So Mars asked me, if Steph Curry were to get his 5th championship, does he move into the top 10? And I said yes, because that means that Kobe would move into the top 10. Well, that would also mean that championships would be higher on my list, which they're not. So that's not true, Mars. So I was trolling.
I got trolled. Okay, interesting.
Yes, you did.
I got trolled.
Yes, you did.
Taste your own medicine, huh?
The counter troll. Counter troll.
You young punk. That's what you're supposed to say to him.
Mars has gotten me so many times, and like with
4-dimensional trolling.
Yes, with a right hook to the chin piece. I'm like, damn, how did I not pick that up?
Hey, Morris, is it one troll still to this day that we don't know that you still have us under your thumb with?
Oh, I know a couple, but I won't let him out the bag.
Please.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I know I got a lot of people with the KG over Kobe thing. Got a lot of people to join the Discord with that one. That one was a very effective troll. But I don't know if there's any that I haven't revealed where I was trolling and people. I don't know. If it comes back into conversation, I might remember. But right now, I don't know. I think all my trolls have been revealed.
Mars, I think it's time to tell the people. I think it's time to let the cat out the bag and let everybody know. You really do like Killian Hayes, don't you? Like
you love him, Mars. You love him. Like you do.
You like Killian, man. Let him know, man.
There's nobody who hates somebody that much. I
don't hate Killian Hayes. It's just You want to hear something positive about Killian Hayes? He's a very good defensive player. There you go. That's a positive thing. He plays defense. He's a good defender. He's 6'5", strong, versatile. He might have been Detroit's best defender last year. He's a very good defender, like perimeter defender. Like, he's a very good defender. So there you go. There's a positive thing about Killian Hayes. He's also a decent passer with his left hand. So that's two things.
With his left hand, with the weak hand.
No, he's left-handed. See, you don't even know. That's how trash he is. That's how trash he is. There you go. See? Terrible. But I gave him 2 compliments. There we go. I gave him 2 compliments. So there you go.
All right, y'all. I got a couple chats that I want to get into, and then we'll go ahead and read these super chats. Obviously, you see the title of the show today. We are breaking down the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll get into that. And the episode when we were talking about the Pistons, I had something I wanted to do. I wanted to compare 2 teams. I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison and a 7-game series prediction with the bad boy Pistons and the Pistons of 2005 that obviously won a champion, or 2004 that obviously won a championship, beat the Lakers, all of that good stuff. But before I do anything, we have a special appearance from somebody who's went MIA on us.
Tony Tone in the house.
You guys see, he got a new avatar. See, he done left and got bougie, y'all. Hey, he done left Watson. He done moved up to the hills. It's crazy, Hollywood.
Living La Vida Loca in the house.
I think I have bad reception. So I apologize if I do. I really just came on to make sure Jay Smooth, aka Chill, told you the truth as why he's got the baby face, and just to stick it to FIFA Boy. Because he thinks I got booted, and no one boots Fluent. Fluent boots people.
Facts. That's a fact.
Did he tell the truth?
No, we haven't.
Nobody even asked me.
Chill's looking
no one even asked.
He spoke about it was about the 49ers. No, about someone being on the team
football bet.
Yeah,
Tone and I had a bet. And the bet was that if Trey Lance, who the 49ers drafted, number 2 or number 3 overall. So this is his 3rd season. And Tone and I had a bet. Tone's logic was Sam Darnold, who came into the 49ers. I think he's a turnover machine. Tone thinks he's going to play more games than Trey Lance. And if that's true, I had to shave. But if he didn't, Tone had to shave his head. Trey Lance just got traded to the Cowboys, so I had to clean up my face. A bet's a bet.
Yeah, just be clear. Plays more for the 49ers.
No,
and I did say, I think you forget, I did say he probably won't even be on the team.
You did say that too.
I did not expect it to happen that quick. So
yes,
I just wanted to be sure make sure that the truth was told. My reception is horrible, so I'll catch y'all on the flip. Check out Fluent top 10s starting Tuesday on PC 9 p.m.
Check it out.
Crazy bet. You better than me. I wouldn't have made that bet.
I'm thinking there's no way that at that time I'm thinking to myself, there's no way Trey Lance is not going to be on the team, and Sam Darnold is not going to jump him in the lineup.
Yo, Fluent already left.
Yeah, he bounced.
Yeah, I just got able to jump on. I wanted to talk some shit.
And you know what's even crazier why Fluent left? It's because Fluent has a big announcement next week. You know, like Chill got a show called Chill with Chill. Mars got open gym. Pirate got a couple movies. Damo literally got his own show. Literally, just keep it a buck. But Fluent got something on the way, and we were supposed to do some promo, but he was so like psyched to, you know.
He hinted at it.
He did quick promo. He said Tuesday 9 p.m.
He hinted at it.
10 or something.
Okay. Yeah, I think he was just excited to point out the fact that he beat Chill in the bet. But yeah, next Tuesday. Watch out if you want to become Fluent.
What's it called?
Everyone gets their own show, but I have to share with Dub. That's crazy.
Is it called Now You're More Fluent?
Yeah, something like that. I got once it all drops, I'll let you know. But Mars, some of us need backup dancers. Doesn't Taylor Swift have backup dancers and singers and stuff?
No, she still has her solo shows. But it's fine. It's fine.
So you're saying like you want a solo act? You know?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Right,
Don't worry about
it. We'll talk, Mars. But let me go ahead and get to these comments though. Got a few for you guys. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Ob No Ball 17 said that 72-10 Bulls team had the worst strength of schedule that year, by the way.
They played everybody in the NBA. What are you talking about? They had the worst strength of schedule. They played everybody in the NBA that everybody else played in the NBA. What are you talking?
I never understood that. If everybody plays the same teams, why are we valuing whose schedule is stronger and weaker based off when you play?
Some teams you play 3 times, some teams you play 4 times. Strength of schedule isn't nearly what it's like in like the NFL. The NFL, it can be severely skewed. And baseball too. Baseball, you play a ton more teams in your own division.
But you still play everybody though. So it's not like, even if you played, like, for example, like the Bulls used to play the Cavs back in the 80s, they would play the Cavs 6 times in the division. So instead of playing them 6 times in the division, now they play 3 times. And the fact that the Toronto Raptors ain't in that division, they only play them 2 times instead of 3. I mean, is that much of a difference? Is it that big of a difference?
Not compared to other sports. No, other sports are much more imbalanced.
That's what I mean. So
I thought you played every team in your conference 4 times and counter conference twice. I thought that's how it worked for the NBA.
You play teams in your division. Some teams you play 3 times in the conference. You play teams in your division.
Division 4,
and then you play teams in the other conference twice.
Okay.
So Milwaukee, of course, they play Sacramento twice. Once in Sacramento, once in Milwaukee.
But they'll play Chicago.
4 times.
Play like Chicago like 4 times. But then
they'll play Charlotte. But then they might play Charlotte twice because they're not in the division. Instead of playing them 3 times, they'll play them twice.
Hey, Chitchat, can you make sure make sure to say that they're not gonna play Sacramento twice? They're gonna get their ass kicked by Sacramento twice.
Let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. Didn't Giannis come up there and put like 45 on y'all?
Man, that shit happens. No big deal.
I just want to make sure I'm clear. And they beat y'all too on top of that. I just want to make sure.
You bringing up all shit, Chitchat.
I'm sorry. I ain't petty like that neither, Big Ox. I get over stuff real quick. I ain't like that. Matter of fact, let me chill out.
Hey, Ron, he too close to Damo on the screen and hate rubbing off on him, man.
No, I don't bring up that. No, I don't. Yeah. Hey, and Big Ox, real quick, and I know we're gonna get back to the comments, but Big Ox, I would appreciate Ron, yo. So Ron was the only one. Ron didn't want to go. So now all of us don't want to go, huh?
No,
is that what that is?
It's not even that. None of us even knew about it because
that's what make it worse.
The manager at the spot texted him, and he didn't even sound the alarm. Like if he didn't want to go, we should have still went.
See what I'm talking about? None of us don't want to go.
Somebody else,
because he don't want to go. None of us want to go. Are you gonna tell?
L-Mans, bro. L-Mans. This is crazy.
On,
hey, personally, I didn't think y'all like Drake. Bob don't like light-skinned people, so I was just doing him a favor.
Whoa. I'm gonna leave that alone. That's crazy.
I probably shouldn't have let that one go. But once again, we're all rubbing off on each other, right? On to the next comment. Speaking of hate, Duke Blaylocks said, "Old Dirty Mustard is a follow the leader or trend type of guy."
Old Dirty Mustard.
Hey, Duke, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm still in that one. I'm writing that one down. I'm calling him Old Dirty Mustard from now on.
Old Dirty Mustard. I like it.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. All right, on to the next one, people. On to the next one. Let's see what we got. From Between the Lines, NBA Podcast 3733 said, "This is why I love this pod. Niggas went from talking about glazing for an hour to talking about Jamal Murray being elite for an hour and a half, which I feel is one of y'all best debates."
Yeah.
Yo, Ron, I just want you to know the term glazable has transcended. I popped in the open gym for a little bit. 7 people in chat. Yeah, that was super glazable, wasn't it? I was like, oh my God. Now, they're doing it everywhere now. This is crazy.
This is Mars. Mars the one who turned me on the glazing. I don't even know what glazing is until Mars turned me on the glazing. I'm like, what the hell
Everything
is
glazing? Me. What?
What the hell does glazing even mean? So Mars is the designated slang translator for me, even though he's English, right? He's the designated slang translator for me because I'm a little bit out the loop when I hear stuff like that. I'm still using words like fresh and dope, right? So I don't know what glazing means.
Mars, it's no way, Mars, you're teaching glaze 101.
I didn't even know I was teaching, but I guess. By the way, Jordan fans, you guys are very sensitive. That's something I felt like in my recent Jalen Green over Jordan, and now Jordan, the most glazed player ever. You guys are very, very sensitive. Like, it's very funny to see how you guys get mad at people for glazing a certain number 23 from the Cavs, but then you turn around and glaze a number 23 from the Bulls. Very interesting. But I'm enjoying trolling you guys.
Troller.
Yeah, y'all just giving Mars ammo too.
It's hilarious. Like I'm reading the comments, people like, "Oh, Mars such a hater. Jordan deserved the glaze." What? Like what? But it's fine. Shout out to you guys, man.
Moving along, 97 till infinity said Jalen turned into a Homelander at the movie theater during the MJ segment.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
I don't really know what that means.
That's from a show, The Boys. New season coming out too. Can't wait to see it. But yeah, W Boys reference. That was hilarious.
Here we go. Super chat from your fave pitcher 2636, and not necessarily a super chat, but an old chat. He said Chill and Bob Pettit were on the same high school bowling team.
Damn.
How was it?
Damn.
So that would mean that Bob Pettit, so he was in high school in like the 40s.
Mm-hmm. I think he was a freshman and you were a senior, I think.
Yeah, he was like in like the 40s. I'm trying to figure out how old you dudes think I am. Because however old you dudes think I am, I must look damn good for my age. Because damn, Bob Pettit.
Yeah.
I think Bob Pettit is close to. I think Bob Pettit. He's got to be close to 90. If he's not,
I think he is 90. But...
Yeah, he's got to be close to 90 if he's not. Just like Bob Cousy's still alive. So if I'm on a bowling team with Bob Pettit, I got to be cool with Bob Cousy too, right?
Yeah, I think Bob Cousy was on your high school basketball team. I think you guys played on the same team.
Played together, right?
Yeah.
All right. I should be in the Hall of Fame because I was on the Celtics too back in.
They just didn't allow you in the NBA because
nope.
You know why?
I do know why. It wasn't because of my game. No.
Yeah, that's right. So Bob Cousy got all the credit, but really and truly, I mean, it should have been you.
See, Chill, that's because they just opened the door for Bob. You gotta work hard.
Yeah, you had to boot the
you
door.
You gotta kick it in type.
Yeah, the door got open for him.
Right.
This is the glaze. This is the glaze.
Nabby Ling 7658 said Mars might be trolling. The term GOAT was invented for Mike, and then commented to their comment and said Mars is so just disingenuous. Nobody said he's the GOAT because he's 6-0. He is the best player, and he happens to be 6-0.
You know how much glaze has to be to tell me that MJ is the reason a whole word was invented?
That's a fire ass.
Like that's crazy glaze.
They created the acronym for Jordan is
that is glaze. Insane, and then glaze. I said that was glaze, and he said it was justified.
But it is true though.
I think the G in GOAT doesn't stand for greatest. I think it stands for glazable.
Glazable of all time.
Most glazable player of all time.
Most glazable player of all time. Actually, GOAT came from LL. LL Cool J came up with the GOAT term.
Nah, man, it's for Jordan.
Nah, man, he got it from Jordan, man. He made it for Jordan type stuff.
Designs are us. Said Mars talks about Jalen Green being better than MJ. You're the king of glazers. Laughing my ass off.
Facts.
Hey,
I've never denied glazing. It's just for some reason the Jordan fans deny their glaze, which is my problem. They're just as bad as everyone else. I own my glaze. That's fine.
King of glaze is crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't call myself the king, but
all right, keeping it pushing. I got a couple more for y'all. Here we go. Infamous 1AO said Mars is the ultimate puppet master while spitting facts at the same time. The panel falls for it all the time.
I'm a victim of it. I'm becoming better at recognizing Mars is trolling, and I get myself sucked into it because Mars is a great actor, and a lot of his logic, he'll explain it, and I'm like, damn, that does make sense. But then wait a minute, it's coming from Mars, so he's full of it. So no, I'm not getting sucked into that. So I'm getting better at it. I am. I'm getting better.
Someone replied to that comment saying, "I can't wait for that to be on the show tomorrow," and then it ended up being on the show.
Yes.
No comment.
Mars has never gotten a troll past me.
I've probably replied to most of these comments. I've replied to because I've read like all the comments on like every show. So I've seen most of these.
Did you? What did you say back to that, or did you just kind of let that go?
I might have just like laughed. Let me find it. Let me see what I said.
All right, while you looking that up, I got one more from none other than Duke Blaylocks. He said, "Why do you guys bring Old Dirty Mustard on here? He started watching basketball in 2018."
And that ain't that long ago, yo. That was like 5 minutes ago in 2018. Damn.
Old Dirty Mustard.
Old Dirty Mustard.
Hey, I'm starting to get in the feeling that Duke doesn't too much care for mustard steaks.
That's what it sounds like, right, Doc?
I'm starting to kind of get the feeling.
You know, I'm not one of those people that think I know everything, but I can tell you that's what that sounds like.
What
That
do you guys
definitely
think it
sound
started
like
at? Did it start with him saying that Ricky Rubio is Jason Kidd?
Oh yeah,
Yo, Ron,
terrible.
why would you bring that up, bro?
That was a terrible take.
He said what he said. He said J Kidd is a light skinned Ricky Rubio. Oh,
Yeah.
that was back
That's what he said, yeah,
on
that's what he said,
the
that's what he
Sunday Wednesday show, right, Mark?
Mm-hmm, yeah, and then he started talking about Jason Kidd's efficiency. Blah, blah, blah. It was a terrible. Take. Shout out to Ethan Hines who said that comment would be read on today's show. Shout out to him.
Oh, y'all just got you just got me pissed off all over again.
My bad.
So you think Ricky Rubio isn't just Jason Kidd from Europe?
I'm about to text him right now.
Hell no.
I'm about to text him right now. It's crazy.
But think about the hype that Ricky Rubio had coming from.
I don't think he had the defense. I don't think Rubio had the defense of a Jason Kidd.
You think? Maybe. I don't know. We'd have to do a deep dive on that.
They weren't that far apart from all defense.
Yes, they were, Mars.
There's only like
not
9.
getting involved in this
You only got like
conversation.
9 more. Like that's not that.
But Mars, I will say the gap in passing makes up for the gap in defense. So
now we're talking. See, I'm Ricky Rubio could shoot.
What
gap in
passing?
passing? Gap in passing for who? So Ricky Rubio is a better passer than Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd is a better defender.
Have you not
But
seen
Jason Kidd
that
is
Ricky Rubio was making?
There's no way I'm getting involved in this.
They're 100% trolling right now.
No way I'm getting involved in
Are you
this.
guys? Have you guys forgotten who prime Ricky Rubio was?
Bro,
Have you forgotten who prime Jason Kidd was?
Ricky Rubio's passing was so great that at 16 they was ready to put him in the NBA. J Kidd was still in high school.
I remember Ricky Rubio. I remember him on that Spanish team. He was fantastic.
He was Luka before Luka. If you remember, overseas guard prospects, that's what Ricky Rubio was.
There was a reason why he was a lottery pick. 100%. There was a reason why he was a lottery pick.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a reason why he was a lottery pick. No question about that. But
this comp is really an insult to Rubio.
I'm about to say that's
I think
Rubio
they're
glaze.
close. I think they're closer than people are giving credit for.
Ron, kick these 3, Ron, including Pirate, because he had to say that shit, man. Kick them, Ron. Get them. Say, send them straight to.
So what was we saying about Ricky Rubio being the greatest, most phenomenal floor general of all time?
Ox sent himself to hell when he sent everybody himself to hell.
I think you guys are sleeping on what Ricky Rubio was because you remember like he tore his Achilles like 2 years ago, so you haven't really seen Ricky Rubio's in a while.
You know what's crazy, Mark?
Ricky Rubio,
Ricky Rubio before he got like those last like 3 years when he came to the Cavs, right before he got hurt. That was really like my favorite version of Ricky Rubio. Not young Ricky. I like that older version of Ricky. I think he was super productive, honestly. I really do. That's
my favorite year of Ricky Rubio is definitely the year he was on Phoenix. I can't remember what year it was, but he was playing really because they were experimenting with Devin Booker at the point. Then they got Ricky Rubio, and then Devin Booker could play the 2. That's when Phoenix looked like they were starting to like take the next step for me. That's my favorite year of Ricky Rubio. I don't think Jason Kidd could have had that level of impact on that team.
Joe, I did not expect you to just slide that in at the end, but that was smooth, bars. That was smooth. All right, man. Let's get into some real ball talk. I know we've been talking about narratives and stuff like that to start the show off, but let's get into this comparison. Let's go ahead and break down these teams. So we got the bad boy Pistons, and then we got the 2004 Pistons, who obviously, won the championship as well. I want to go around the room and I want to hear thoughts on this matchup. I want to hear predictions in a 7-game series. Who you guys think is the better player? Why you think certain teams will win and all that good stuff. Pirate, I want to start with you, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a fascinating matchup. The winner would probably be like a 51-45 type games. I mean, 2 of the slowest pace teams, 2 of the best defenses. Bad Boys a little bit more balanced, offense, defense. Wallace, probably the best defense I've ever seen. So I don't know. Quickly, it'd be awesome. Rodman and Tayshaun Prince probably hold each other to 0 points the entire series. I think in that matchup, I mean, who knows? But I personally think that when you're talking about the 04 Pistons, I think that Ben Wallace would be the best player on the floor in that series. I think he would be the dictator. And I think I'd go 04. I'd go 04. But it'd be fantastic to watch. It'd be like a football game on the court.
Did we lose Ron? I think we lost Ron.
Yeah, I think so.
We lost Ron.
So I need to take the host mantle, I guess. Chill,
looks
what's your thoughts on the 04 Pistons versus the Bad Boy Pistons?
I could not stand the Pistons. The Bad Boy Pistons, I hated them. But I love Joe Dumars. I was a big-time Joe Dumars fan. That's one of the main reasons why I watched them. And I watched them because despite how rough and tough they were, like they actually were a really good basketball team. And not only were they a really good basketball team, they did a lot of good things. They did a lot of good things collectively, like defensively. They did beat up guys, but Joe Dumars was an elite one-on-one defender. Isaiah Thomas was the product of being on a good defensive team. But I don't think that Isaiah Thomas was that great as a defender. I think he was the product of think John Morant on Memphis. Like John Morant being on Memphis, him being on a really good defensive team, but people saying that Ja's a really good defender. He's really not. He's just a product of being on a really good defensive team. Now, when I think about the 2004 team, I think that 89 team, I think they might be a little bit better defensively. And the reason why I'm thinking that they better defensively is because I think that there's a little bit more that they can do in terms of physicality, like Rick Mahorn, Dennis Rodman. These guys know the tricks that get guys out of their games. I watched Dennis Rodman completely take James Worthy out of the series in 1989, right? Just by doing small things, nitpicking. And I watched Rick Mahorn do the same thing with him, taking him out of the series. Then they got rotation guys like Mark Aguirre, who's coming off the bench and giving them quality minutes offensively. I think that it would be a really good series, and I would give it to the Bad Boy Pistons in terms of 89. A lot of people don't talk nearly enough about the scorer that Joe Dumars was. I watched him average. He averaged 27 a game against that Laker team in 1989 in the NBA Finals. Gave Magic Johnson the business. And I think the coaching edge, as good as Larry Brown is, I think that Chuck Daly, I would give him the coaching edge because Chuck Daly knew the nuances of players, and he knew how to get to players. So guys like John Sally, he knew how to make John Sally rebound more. He knew how to make John Sally get out in the open floor more. I think that with that offense that the Detroit Pistons had, with the defense that they had, I'm going to give them the edge slightly. But with the offense that they had, I think Isaiah Thomas outplays Chauncey Billups. I think that Joe Dumars, I think he gives Rip Hamilton hell. And I think that the backcourt would be the difference. Because I think that both Dennis Rodman and Rick Mahorn, I think that they could bother Rasheed Wallace and ultimately take him out of his game just by doing the little things to nitpick at him. And I think that would bother him and get him off of his rhythm.
Dama?
Yeah, looking at it, honestly, I feel like it would be close. I'm gonna lean towards the Bad Boys Pistons for the simple fact I feel like the 04 championship Pistons, they weren't playing. I mean, because of when they weren't playing in like a modern enough style where I feel like it would just be too complicated for the older Pistons to manage and handle. I feel like Isaiah Thomas wouldn't really like Chauncey Billups isn't one of the guards that will like just outclass Isaiah Thomas. IT was definitely a savage of a scorer, but it's not like you have IT at that time who was putting up, what was it, 20? What was he putting up at that time?
Probably like 19, 20. Probably
19, 20. But at that time, that was seen as a scoring guard. But then you go and see guys like Kyrie putting up 25, 26, where it's just a gap in what your guard is doing for a scoring guard.
Right.
Chauncey Billups he's not doing that. Chauncey Billups isn't a scoring guard. He's still much of a traditional style of a point guard. They both match each other. They're both defensive minded teams. They're both gonna be defensive first. And I think matching up, they definitely. Someone said 04 didn't play modern, Damo. I know, Goofy. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm giving it to the Pistons, because the 04 Pistons didn't play modern. I'm giving it to the bad boys Pistons. I feel like their rough ass defensive style. I'm leaning towards. What rule sets are they playing in? Are they playing with the 80s rules, or they're playing more?
Well, it wasn't the 89 Pistons and the 04 Pistons. They aren't that far removed.
The only difference really is that flagrant fouls now exist.
That's it. That's it.
And you get free three throws if you get fouled on the 3-point.
But it's really flagrant fouls could affect the bad boys.
That's what I'm saying. If you got flagrant fouls,
flagrant fouls could affect the bad boys.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you're playing with no flagrant fouls, I feel like the Pistons are definitely going to take it. But if you're playing with more modern rules where you can't flagrant foul as much, you can't foul hard as much, or you're going to get kicked out of the game and it's going to affect you, then yeah, I feel like the 04 Pistons have an edge. But I'm going to give with the bad boys Pistons. I feel like they're deeper. I feel like they're definitely a more balanced team. But fun fact, it's a fun fact for me. I did not realize the 04 Pistons had Mehmet Okur. I did not know that.
Oh yeah, he was probably outside the top 5. He was probably the most effective 6th guy.
And Damo,
I like Lindsay.
And Damo,
Lindsay, but Lindsay really was not that.
Offensively, he was doing nothing. I just liked his tenacity on defense.
But even he didn't play a ton of minutes.
He didn't. It's pure vibes of every time he came in the game.
That was a very, very, very top heavy team. I mean, the 04 Pistons was very much about the top 5, and everyone else was kind of along. Corliss Williamson, Mehmet Okur.
That's why they didn't give Darko Milicic enough minutes.
Just so you know,
they didn't let him shine, man.
I think Darvin Ham was on that team.
I was about to say,
like
the terrorists
5 or 6 minutes a game or something.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, the terrorists was on that group too.
I don't remember seeing him play much, but I know he was on that team.
He didn't. Nobody did. Really, nobody did. That was a 5-man.
With that being said, to add to Damo's point, I don't think that. I think I discounted how long that crew had been together. That 89 Pistons team, they had been together. Joe Dumars had been on the team.
Sure. Been through
Dennis
the wars.
Rodman had been on the team. Dennis Rodman had been on the team since 86. Isaiah got on the crew in 81. Bill Laimbeer got on the crew in 82. Vinnie Johnson got on. The only new guy that they had was Mark Aguirre. That was it. Right. That crew had been together for a long time. That Detroit Piston team, they had just really gotten together. Like, she just got on the crew that year. Like, Ben Wallace had been on the crew for like, I think, what, two or 3 years, something like that. They just got Chauncey Billups the year before that, I think, or a year or two before that, and Rip Hamilton, I think they had just gotten him not too long ago. So I can't discount that. Plus, I think that, and a lot of people talk about how good Ben Wallace is as a defender, which I do not disagree with that, because he was awesome as a defender. I think Bill Laimbeer would have gave him hell simply off the strength that Bill Laimbeer is one of the first stretch 5s. So his ability to shoot the basketball 18 feet, shoot the long ball, and drag Ben Wallace away from the basket, I think that would affect their rebounding, and I think that would affect their transition game too.
They probably put Rashid.
My take for that, So with 89 versus 04, I don't think the bad boy Pistons, they can't rely on their bullying this team. So that's a notch right there. Like the bad boy Pistons cannot bully the 04 Pistons. In fact, I would say it's almost the opposite. I know that sounds crazy, but I would in fact say it's almost the opposite. The bad boy Pistons got to worry about the 04 Pistons bullying. Another thing is only one of these teams has Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah,
and that's.
I think we're discounting Rasheed, both Wallaces together.
So that's why. Well, first let me say that I think Chauncey Billups can deal with Zeke. I think Zeke probably has I think Zeke has the edge over him, like who's a better player, better point guard. But I think Chauncey Billups, I've always been a fan of Chauncey Billups. I think he has the ability to step up and play with any of the great point guards, even if he's not as good or as talented. I don't think Zeke's antics get to Chauncey. I think he can still hold it down, keep his team composed, keep Rasheed's mind in it. We got Rip Hamilton and Tayshaun Prince at the wings. I think Joe Dumars, I mean, I can't say enough about how great he was, but I think Rip Hamilton can get with him. But the edge for me and that this is where the edge will always lie with me is with Rasheed Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Dennis Rodman. I know who Dennis Rodman is.
That's what I was about to ask you, Big Bob. That's what I was about to ask you. So with both Dennis Rodman and Rick Mahorn, and we know how volatile we all know how volatile Sheed is. And like I said, I watched Dennis Rodman. I watched Rick Mahorn completely take James Worthy out of the series in 1989 in the finals. Completely take him out of the series.
With all due respect, Chilton. I'm sorry, Pirate. I got it. With all due respect, that was James Worthy.
It was.
That wasn't Rasheed Wallace.
And don't get me wrong. Rasheed Wallace is one of those players that I look at. I mean, I watched him in the 2000 Western Conference Championship against the Lakers, and I remember thinking to myself, this is one of the first dudes that I've seen on the box in a long time that I feel like he could score every time he touched the ball. Every time he touched it, I feel like he could score. But Dennis had that kind of way of getting into a guy's head. Rick Mahorn had that kind of way of getting into a guy's head. And Sheed is a very emotional player. That's right up Dennis Rodman's alley. That's right up Rick Mahorn's alley. To get a guy like that who I could just needle at him, and pick at him. And eventually, especially during the course of a 7-game series, it would get to him. I mean, I watched Rasheed Wallace get thrown out of a playoff game in the second quarter.
That's a fact.
With Dennis Rodman or Rick Mahorn.
That's a fact. So I'm just kind of banking on Chauncey, being that floor general and keeping his team intact, and that's what I'm banking on. So if Rasheed keeps his cool, you know what I'm saying, and plays, and I honestly I got 04, I got him in 5. I got the 04 Pistons in 5. to be respectful to that legendary team, I have him in 6. But if you know me, you know that 04 Pistons is a top 5 team of mine.
Yeah, I kind of think we should switch it around. Maybe start calling the 04 Pistons the bad boys. I think they were the real bad boys. I think we're really underselling exactly how dominant that defense was. I mean, I hands down, that was the most dominant defense I have ever seen. I mean, they were holding people in the regular season down to those games were in the 70s, man. You'd pop on the Pistons that you could not score. And then you look at the playoffs and they just completely dominated. Rasheed and Ben Wallace, they were getting 2, 3, 4 blocks apiece every series. The series against the Pacers, I don't think anyone on the Pacers shot over 40% on the entire roster. They held an entire roster below 40%, which is insane. That's crazy. It's crazy. Ben Wallace that year was so dominant, such a physical force. I mean, he was like a goddamn WWF wrestler. Just.
But if you think about the 89 Pistons, that was their mantra. At that point, they were considered. If I remember correctly, they were considered the best defense. I don't think they gave up 100 points in the entire playoffs. I don't think they get, and that was nuts back then to not give up 100 points in the playoffs. Because in the playoffs, especially in the East, you're playing against much better teams, and I don't think they gave up 100 points in the playoffs. They were that dominant that it was either the 88 or it was either the 88, and they solidified it by winning it in back-to-back seasons. So when you win it one time, like I've mentioned this in the past, if you win it one time. I think that anybody can win it one time. But when you win it twice and you do it in back-to-back seasons, that solidifies you, right? That solidifies you as being legit, as opposed to we were not a fluke. And that Detroit Piston team, defensively, I don't think we talk nearly enough about how good collectively they were as a defense. Joe Dumars,
I think we do. They're pretty much known for it.
Joe Dumars, first team all defense. Dennis Rodman, the defensive player.
No, Dennis Rodman. I believe Dennis Rodman. I love skinny Detroit Rodman. When people go back and look at Dennis Rodman, I feel like his defense has the big yoked up power forward. Dennis Rodman is kind of overblown. Power forward, the rebounding was great there, but the defense not quite as good as it's talked about. But on the flip side, the small forward, skinny Dennis Rodman, was one of the most fantastic defenders and just hustle, dirty work guys you could ever possibly imagine. I think Dennis Rodman would be a game changer in that series. And 89 is when he really came on in the playoffs in the later rounds. That's when we really started seeing rebounding monster.
Right.
Dennis Rodman. Like a couple of those series, he was getting like 13, 14 rebounds, only playing like 20, 25 minutes.
Right. He wasn't
13.
playing heavy minutes. He didn't play heavy minutes because at that point he was still a rotation guy. He didn't get into the starting lineup to 1990. But to Mars' point, Mars wants to put Sheed on Bill Laimbeer. I mean, Sheed had to cover Robert Horry, and I mean, I saw him giving up big shots to Robert Horry. I'd like to think that Bill Laimbeer was better than Robert Horry, especially in transition and stop and pop. I think he would have been a hell for Rasheed Wallace. Now, I think that people look at Rasheed Wallace as that kind of offensive player, which he was. I will not discount that, which he was. But the bad boy Pistons, Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahorn, Joe Dumars, they had a way of getting into your head. And I think they would have targeted, just like they did Bird, just like they did Jordan, they would have went after Rasheed Wallace because they would have looked at him like he was their emotional leader. He was their best player on the block. And if you break him, you could break them.
What was the bench looking like for the 04 Pistons? Because
nothing.
I'm seeing people in the comments
they
saying,
didn't really have a bench.
The talent of the 04 Pistons was just trumping the 89 Pistons. I don't know if y'all realize how talented the Bad Boys Pistons are as well. Like, and I'm talking about the people in the comments as well. Like, specifically, I don't think y'all understand how talented them guys were. I feel like y'all are just thinking of them as this ragtag group of fouling guys, but they had their starting five was talented, and they also had guys coming off the bench who could play.
Vinny Johnson is one of the best six men of all time.
The microwave. I mean, he was. But for a long when I was growing up, Vinny Johnson was kind of like the cliche for the guy off the bench, the fire starter off the bench was Vinny Johnson.
It wasn't news what he was on the floor for. It was not news when Vinny Johnson came to the game. Think Jamal Crawford. Think Lemon Pepper Lou. It was no misunderstanding of when Vinny Johnson came in the game. He was the bucket getter.
He was there to score. Yeah, yes, it's like we're putting Vinny in, and he's shooting like damn near every possession. He's going to be shooting.
Isaiah Thomas, they were going to him immediately. There was no misunderstanding of why he was on the floor. None whatsoever.
Who was on that bench though, Chilltown? It was you already said Mehmet Okur
and 04. So
Williamson,
Corliss Williamson
was on that bench.
Lindsey Hunter were really the only effective guys.
Campbell in that team.
Eldon Campbell, yeah.
Antonio McDyess wasn't there.
McDyess came in.
So he came in the next season.
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
Like I'm looking at their bench. I'm telling you, man. Outside of the main five, man, this bench is looking so.
No, but they didn't need it. They didn't need it.
I mean, it's just like you got to look at Damo. You got to look at teams like this Nuggets team that just won. You know what I'm saying? Like if we go,
it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem not having a bench.
At that time, yes, but if you got this team against the Bad Boys Pistons, offensively, the starting.
But you gotta remember how slow both teams play.
Yes,
but so when
you're playing less possessions, you don't need to 10-man rotation.
When two of the slowest teams play each other, that's a slow ass game. That's what I'm saying. Like that game literally probably would have been like 60 to 58.
Then you're relying on old man Eldon. That's what you're relying on, old man Eldon Campbell to come in and give you some minutes.
No, and Mehmet Okur and Corliss Williamson, they were, they'd get like 10, 15 minutes a game,
but in 10 years, if you go back and look at if you go back in 10 years and look at this Nuggets roster, we'll be like, well, what they have coming off the bench? You know what I'm saying? Like, what Jeff Green, Christian Brown, Bruce Brown will be, that's how it's going to look at. So looking back on it now, like I definitely agree with you, Damo. Like now to me, that bench is looking real suspect. But back in 03, 04, not 05 because it was a different team, but in 04, you know what I'm saying? You look at that roster, I don't have it. Like back then we had no problem with that team. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't say exactly what the experts, like R.I.P. Stewart, Scott, like guys like him, what they were saying about the roster, you know what I'm saying? But to the best of my knowledge, like I never heard anybody in my family like, hey man, this bench is sorry or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no,
and
it really wasn't a problem.
I was 13 at the time, so to the best of my knowledge, I was cool with this squad. Obviously, I'm a Rashid stan, so I just any team Rashid's on, I'm like, nah, that's the best team.
I mean that 89 roster, Big Ox. I mean they had 10 guys.
Okay.
Legit.
Okay.
I mean they had 10 legit guys, and those guys were good, and they gave them quality minutes off the bench. Dennis Rodman wasn't starting on the crew. That'll give you an idea. He was one of the rotation guys. So they had him. They had Vinnie Johnson, right? They had Rick Mahorn. They had John Sally. So I mean, they had a damn good
James Edwards.
He started at the 5. He wasn't a rotation guy. He started at the 5 for them. But with that being said,
not in 89. No. I think he switched in 90.
In 90, there
was a big shift from Aguirre in 89 to James Edwards in 90. Edwards was a huge factor in 90.
Right.
And Aguirre was less.
Aguirre went to the bench. Dennis Rodman moved into the starting rotation in 90. In 89, Mark Aguirre started. So you had Isaiah, Joe D. Let's see, Aguirre at the 3. Who was at the 4 for them? Rick Mahorn was at the 4. Rick Mahorn was at the 4, and
Bill
Lambier was at the 5.
James Edwards in 89, I think he was getting like 12, 15 minutes. But then in 90, James Edwards was a huge factor in the whole thing.
Because I watched the 90s like final series. Like I watched not the whole series. I watched like a few games a couple months ago. There was a game where Bill Lambier took like 10 threes. Like that flabbergasted. He took like 10. Yeah. He made like 5 of them as well. Like he was making the threes. I was like,
James Edwards was the guy who played mainly away from the
Lambier
hoop.
Could shoot. Like I remember it might have been Gilbert Arenas who said it. Like Bill Lambier game doesn't travel. Something like Bill Lambier could shoot. So like, I don't know where that from.
Mars, how many did he make?
I'll have to look it up because I can't.
Probably made a few. I mean,
he took like 10, and I'm pretty sure he made half of them.
Yeah.
I'll look it up so I can like paint the picture accurately. So give me some time. You guys can talk while I find it.
He was basically. Well, I'm not gonna say Kevin Love, but he was similar to that on the Bad Boy Pistons. That's kind of what he was with Kevin Love in Cleveland. That's kind of what Bill Lambier was in Detroit. Except he was clotheslining.
He went 6 for 9. He went 6 for 9.
6 for 9. Yeah,
and had 26 points.
Yeah.
If both teams wasn't predicated in such historic defenses, I could understand why having the argument of the Pistons are deeper. Well, the Bad Boys Pistons are deeper, but the 04 Pistons, they just had the best formula. Their defense is so great.
Yeah.
The 89 Pistons, to me, if I'm matching you, if I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I will at least say their defenses are comparable. I don't know if there's
but that's where I would disagree. I would actually disagree with that.
I don't think the 04. I don't think.
I think there's a gap. I think there's I think there's a gap. I think that 04 defense was other level. Like you talk about B tier, A tier, S tier. Like the 04 Pistons defense is like S+ tier.
What makes them that much better than that 89 defense?
Again, I got to go back to the combination of Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace, were just such extremely effective paint. I mean, Ben Wallace's rim protection was just otherworldly, and that's not to diminish the Bad Boys. Again, we're talking about two great teams. This is an awesome series. It's an awesome matchup to break down. Like I think each position is awesome to break down, but I think that is such a game changer. I think Ben Wallace was doing something that year that honestly, like, I haven't seen in my lifetime.
Just as an individual defender, what you're talking about, Pirate? You talking about Ben Wallace just as an individual defender?
I'm talking about two things. I'm talking about what Ben Wallace himself was doing, but then also in conjunction, just again, like we were saying, they didn't have any depth. Dude, that team did not need any depth whatsoever. They slowed the game down. Those 5 guys were on the same page. You think about it, without the depth, those guys were playing so many minutes that was just like such a cohesive defensive unit. What Ben Wallace was doing was absolutely dominant. the way Rasheed Wallace played off of Ben Wallace, that tandem, and the way that they were able to control every square inch anywhere near the rim was, again, something I personally
Pirate, can
feel like I
ask you
have
something,
not seen. And then you throw Tayshaun Prince in there, super long. I mean, it was just so well constructed from a defensive point of view. Like, the Bad Boys were a great defense. But that 04 defense is like
the best,
textbook.
Is that the best front court defense that we've seen?
Defensively, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking.
I mean, in the modern era, I mean, let me think about it. My instinct is yes.
Well, Pirate, I'm talking about.
And I'm gonna say yes.
I'm talking about Rasheed, Ben, and Tayshaun. Like, is that the best forward and center? Like,
defensively, we're talking just defense. Chill.
Yes, I am.
Okay, just defense. No.
Who?
They weren't better than the Celtics with Bird, McHale, and Robbie Parrish. They weren't better than them.
Defensively?
On the defensive line?
I would have to respectfully disagree.
Yeah, Larry Bird.
Respectfully.
This is what I'm thinking about.
Larry Bird defensive rating.
I'm thinking about something. You already know where we at with that.
Look up some defensive ratings for the 04 Pistons.
I'm taking Bruce Bowen, and Tim Duncan, and Dave Robertson over that Celtics front line.
That's
pretty good. But still, again.
But hold on, Mars. Are you taking that David Robinson? Because that David Robinson in 2003, he was over. He was finished.
Offensively, he was over. He was still very.
I'm not over. He wasn't over, but yeah, he wasn't. He was
still elite. Was he still elite defensively in 2001?
I don't think you can name. I don't think you can name 15 better defenders than David Robinson in 2001.
In 2001, so that was in year. I mean, he had been.
Yeah, but I'm 12 years. In 2004, you can't name anybody who's touching Ben Wallace.
Oh, I'm not arguing again. I'm not arguing the Spurs. I'm saying
talking about front lines, and I'm thinking about the Celtics front. I'm thinking about the Celtics front line defensively with Kevin McHale. I'm thinking about Robbie Parrish being one of the best rim protectors. I'm thinking about Bird being one of the best team defenders. Right. So when I think about what the Pistons were doing, that 04 team in conjunction with that 04 team against that 89 Pistons team, I'm thinking about the backcourt to start. And I'm thinking about how Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars played off of each other defensively. As Joe Dumars cleaned up a lot of Isaiah Thomas's messes. Isaiah Thomas was able to take a lot more chances because he was running with a dude like Joe Dumars. They basically played defense collectively. So now you're going to get a guy in Dennis Rodman and Rick Mahorn who also create that intimidation factor. People talk about rotations. People talk about cutting off angles. Well, you don't really have to do that much when a guy is actually scared to go to that angle or scared to go to that spot because he's going to get hit. So when you got a guy like Bill Laimbeer who now plays off of that, where, I mean, he did put Jordan in the chokehold. That's nuts. But in addition to that, rebounding the basketball, how they did, collectively, gang rebounding, ganging up on individual players like they did. Defensively, I mean, they brought that intimidation factor, and not only did they bring that intimidation factor, it actually showed because I think they held teams. I don't think anybody scored over 100 points in 89 in the playoffs against them. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's true.
I will say, Chilltown. I just want to throw this out there. You got it, Pirate. If you give I will say this, and I know I'm on the 89 Pistons side, but if you give the 04 Pistons the luxury of playing Bad Boys Pistons style defense of that rule where you let them hit. If you let Ben Wallace and Rasheed
Wallace is sending people to the hospital.
Yeah, I don't. Hey,
Ben Wallace is sending people to the morgue.
We might be talking about some new intimidators. I ain't gonna lie. If Ben Wallace is allowed to hit people, we're talking about a different ballgame. But go ahead, Pirate.
The Lakers.
Chill. We just you were talking about rebounding. Yeah. Let's talk about Ben Wallace rebounding. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what kind of rebounding Ben Wallace was giving us.
Right.
I mean, dude, for that year and for that couple year stretch, Ben Wallace was, that is my kind of center, man. The guy was an absolute monster. The defense S+. the rebounding S+.
Mhm.
Like, and so fast, you know, so quick on his feet and light on his feet with the combination of strength. I mean, that's speed strength combo is otherworldly. So, I mean, if we're just looking at the teams, would you agree? I would say on the Bad Boys, Dennis Rodman was the best defender.
I would agree. I would say that. Yes. I think he
Okay,
was their best defender.
now let me go back to this. So we agree that Dennis Rodman's the best defender on the Bad Boys. Dennis Rodman's playing like 23, 24, 25 minutes a game. We go to the 04. We go to the 04 Pistons. We got Ben Wallace. He's putting in 40, 41, 42 minutes a game.
Right.
I feel like that's.
Well, I think the difference, which does make sense, but what you're taking out, what you're leaving out is how much better I feel like that 89 team is offensively. So as good as as good as they are defensively, I feel like the Detroit Pistons in 89 offensively with Mark Aguirre, with Joe Dumars, with Isaiah Thomas, with John Sally running the lanes, with Dennis Rodman running the lane, with Bill Lambert in terms of pick and pop. I think Ben Wallace's ability to rebound. I think Rasheed Wallace's ability to rebound. I think that would be disruptive simply off the strength that guy like Bill Lambert is stretching the defense, right? Guys like Bill Lambert stretching the defense, taking guys like Rasheed Wallace away from the basket. And that's giving guys like Dennis Rodman more opportunity. And one thing I do know, if you're going to having a fight with Ben Wallace is a difficult task, but if he's got to fight with Dennis Rodman too, that's going to be even worse. Even if it's only for 25 minutes, even if it is only for 30 minutes, that's going to wear on him, and that's going to wear on him a lot. So I think offensively, that's where the edge is. Defensively, I think that they just have more because you got a guy in Joe Dumars, an all-league defender, an elite guard, an elite defensive guard. Dennis Rodman, who's regarded as arguably the best defensive player in the game at that point. That crew defensively, I think they were just as good. Now I understand the rule point, right? You can body slam guys, you can put your hands on guys a little bit more than you can in 2004. But I mean, they're not that far removed. It's not like we're talking about the 89 Pistons and we're talking about the 2019 Toronto Raptors. I mean, it's not 20 years or 30 years removed. The rules are kind of similar to what they were back then, with the exception of what was it, Mars?
Flagrant fouls, which is a big factor in this particular series, I think.
Right. Flagrant fouls. But other than that, I mean, you can still put hands on guys. You can still get physical and get rough with guys back then.
Hey, I know a lot of people have like all-time teams that they would like to see play. This is a matchup that we don't talk about enough, but I think I would love to see this just from a gritty and defensive standpoint, and just to really see like just the chess moves that both coaches would have to make to try to outdo the other team. I think it'd be a masterpiece, I think. But I also do want to say, Pirate, in response to not necessarily in response to you, but adding on to what you were saying about the Bad Boys defense. Have we talked about Chauncey and Rip's ability to play defense too?
Yeah, not enough. I don't think so. I tried to allude to that just with the absolute cohesiveness of that defensive unit. I believe here's another factor I'm going to be looking at. Isaiah and the fact is that during their playoff runs, both teams, their backcourts had very up and down performances offensively. The Bad Boys, we all know Dumars and Isaiah are not the tallest guys. Where the 04 Pistons had very good length when you look at Rip Hamilton was a long player, 6'6", fairly long. Tayshaun Prince, obviously, and Rasheed Wallace.
Hey, how tall was Joe Dumars?
Joe Dumars was like 6'4", 6'3".
I thought he was 6'3". But yeah, somewhere.
But either way, so you got Rip at 6'6", running around the perimeter. You got Tayshaun Prince, a very long player, and you got Rasheed Wallace, who's also running around the perimeter. I think that middle section of the team of the 04 could give, because I mean you do have Rodman. Rodman's a real good matchup for those three guys. Dumars and Isaiah, I think they could run into some trouble. And again, both backcourts, they were real up and down. during those playoff runs. They each had series where they would, be shooting in the 40s. I think Hamilton could give some trouble.
Now, with that being said, the '89 Pistons, the very next year, they had to deal with they had to deal with Portland in the finals.
Yes.
Terry Porter's 6'3", Drex is 6'7". They basically swept them dudes. They lost game one, and Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars were fantastic in that series.
Yeah, but chill. That Portland team was so toasted by the time they got to the finals. Like, Drexler had a fantastic series.
Yeah.
They had zero depth whatsoever. I mean, that was Cliff Robinson was like 20. He was young.
He was a
rookie. He was very young. He did absolutely. He was god awful.
I'm just thinking about from their backcourt. All I'm talking about is Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas, because you brought up the point of Joe Dumars and Chauncey. You talking about Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton, I think Rip Hamilton was like 6'4", 6'5", and
no, Rip was like 6'6".
No, he wasn't that big. No, he wasn't. But even
he was taller than Dumars. Pretty sure he was 6'6". Pretty sure he was 6'6".
When you're on the floor, to be honest with you, with a 6, I'm like 6'3", 6'4". If I'm going up against a 6'5" dude, that ain't really that much of a difference, to be honest with you, as opposed to dealing with a dude that's 6'7", 6'8". Now, there's a sizable difference there. Same logic with Isaiah Thomas at 6'1". If he's dealing with Chauncey Billups, who's 6'3", I'm looking him in his face. So it's not like this dude is towering over me like I had to deal with Magic, who's 6'9", or having to deal with Penny Hardaway, who's 6'7". I think that there's a considerable edge there. But when you talk about these two guys in terms of a size, there's not that much difference. And when you're talking about defensively as a collection, I don't think that it's close between those two. I think both Rip Hamilton and Chauncey Billups benefited more from that back line than Joe Dumars and Isaiah, because I feel like Joe Dumars was an awesome defender. I would say out of the 4 backcourt players, Dumars is going to be the best defender of the 4. But I think you're right when you're talking about a one-on-one matchup. A couple inches here and there doesn't matter. But I think when you look at a whole like 1 through 4, and you got a couple inches at point guard, then you got a couple more inches at shooting guard, then you got a couple more inches at small forward, then you got a couple more inches at power forward. I think that kind of compounds. It's little inches here and there that add up over the course of the game to giving the 04 Pistons more length and coverage on defense, and then also being able to, when they get open, they got a little bit more space here and there on all the shot attempts, and all that'll kind of add up over the course of the game. Right. Fair.
I don't know if Ron is here.
Yeah, he is. He's still here. Just being his L-host, sir.
Okay, I'll read some.
We got to get a mic back to Mars. Mars is running.
Fine. I'll read some super chats while we wait for him. Zui Money said, "Pirate, why are you always in your car?"
Yeah, man. Someone got to keep these streets running.
Yeah.
Okay, Ron's back. He can go do his job again. Oh, damn.
No, he's not. He was here a minute ago. Now he's not. So.
Fine. Eleanor said that guy who randomly called Chill 50 in the group chat.
That's what we were talking this morning. We were talking this morning. And he brought my age up, and I was trying to figure out, like, what is my age? What is me being? You didn't bring anybody else's age up. It's not. I want to make sure I'm clear about something, Mars. Being older is not a sensitive thing for me. You know why? Because what's the alternative, Mars?
Being dead.
Yeah, and I think I'm good.
I thought you were gonna say being a dumb kid.
I'll take 50. No,
calm down, buddy. Calm down.
I'll definitely take 50. So I don't have a problem with bringing up my age, but if you're gonna bring up my age and it be a slight, then how come you don't do it with everybody else? And then not say that you're not trying to be disrespectful. What you bring my age up for then?
You want to proceed, Mars? I was enjoying the show.
No, fine. FIFA Boy said, L host L Mans for missing the OVO after party. If you know, you know.
I'm just saying, man. I don't understand, Mars. If you hungry, If you're not hungry, Mars, that don't mean that I'm not hungry. I'd like to eat. So it might be a good idea if you ain't hungry, you could at least let me know it's food here. Because I might be hungry. As opposed to you ain't hungry, so you ain't gonna tell me that it's food here.
Facts. I'll run.
That's the least you could do.
My bad, bro. I had a lot on my plate tonight. Or that night.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of legs on my plate.
See?
Winter said Miko Grimes, Ox, that's her name.
Yeah, the chick from the Gilbert Arenas podcast.
Oh, okay. Angie Carr said, facts, Domo. Since he's been on the show, he had this cocky and overconfident aura about him, even wearing that goofy ass crown like he was that dude. I think that's why Rashad McCants, right?
He's the goofy guy. I mean, they're running the show over there. You need some goofy guy. You know?
Everybody got a role, and that's what it is.
They're about the Bucks, so we'll save them for the next topic. Calvin Bruton Games said the first person called the GOAT was Earl Manigault.
Well, that was when the documentary came out, Earl the Goat Manigault. That's where that came from, but that was like years later. I first heard it with LL.
I mean, I think they probably call him the GOAT just because of his name.
It didn't start with Jordan. That's what I was.
No, it did not. No.
There we go. Multi 10-1000 said knowing Ron is high right now is hilarious.
It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious, Ron.
If Ron, if you had to piss in the cup right now, and we went to management, would you be okay, or would you have to come talk to some people?
I'm not showing up, and if I do show up, I'm not leaving.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna be in the bathroom for like 2 hours. You're gonna hear the faucet running. Like,
just want to make sure.
I've been there before. I had to get piss tested, and I just like I can't piss. Like I don't got no piss. I can't. I'm trying. What can I do?
Drink some water.
That's very simple. That's a really simple fix, Big Ox.
Shout out to drink more water.
Y'all never got anyone to piss for you? Amateurs.
Oh my god.
It wasn't that type of situation, Pirate.
Hit 44 said Sheed would get kicked out via text in this game. I think we spoke about that. So
yeah, he might miss a game or two.
Angie Carr said, whose game could translate eras better, the 04 or the 89 Pistons?
I mean, well, I think that was a good point. Like, if you take away flagrant fouls for the 04 Pistons, that's a pretty brutal defense.
I think the 89 Pistons probably translate better, in my opinion.
As a total team.
Yeah, I just feel like Joe Dumars. I feel like his game. I feel like Isaiah Thomas. That's not the slight Chauncey Billups. That's not the slight Rip Hamilton. Because I think Rip Hamilton would be great in today's game, especially his ability to just move without the basketball. I think he'd be awesome. But I think that from a talent standpoint, and I think that from a style standpoint, I think that the 89 Pistons would just be better.
I agree with that, Chill, because I do think that backcourt was dynamic, but also too, like if we're talking about translating now, let's think of two guys that automatically would be crazy right now from that 04 Pistons just because they shoot so many threes. You got to go with Chauncey Billups, and then you got to look at Rasheed Wallace. Think those two guys, especially as a stretch big, Rasheed would eat in this era, and we obviously know how talented he is.
Yeah, he would be. Yes, Rasheed would be awesome. Yes,
other aspects, but he's
100%.
He's going to be so much more valued. And just imagine a cat that actually has toughness and can do other things.
He doesn't shoot as well as Cat, so that's coming
but
right
he does.
But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Then, I mean, Chauncey too.
Close enough.
If Chauncey able to really let it fly the way he was able to let it fly, I think he'd be.
Chauncey in today's game would be crazy. He was a great shooter.
Yeah.
I really think people give. This is not like an old man rant or anything. I think it's just logical. I think people give the current players a little bit more credit for being better shooters. You have to look at how, like, if offenses are geared towards you spotting up and shooting threes, you're gonna incorporate that in your game more. I look at Lopez. The first 7 years in the league, he shot 33s total and made like 9. His last 7 years in the league, he shot 2,000 threes. Like, the ability to shoot the three, it's not some mythical skill that like only today's players could pick up, and like old guys just wouldn't be able to to figure out how to shoot a spot up three.
I agree. I think the best way to like, not the best way, but a way that I mean, at least I will judge some semblance of shooting is free throw percentage. That's the only thing that's consistent.
Yeah, me too.
History. That's the only, like, you had free throws haven't changed. So from 1960 to now, it's always been a free throw. I think this year, like, the league average is like 78%. I think in 2004, the league average was like 75%. I think it's probably somewhere similar in the 80s. Like, people could shoot.
Yes.
Like, that's not a new thing. Now, the 3-point line and how much has been required has obviously changed, and now you got more 3-point shooting. But the ability to shoot the basketball is not something that's only existed in the last 10 years. That's my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
Ron, you want to go back to reading super chats?
No, we're actually gonna transition. I want to talk about some FIBA. Obviously, Team USA played earlier today, and a bunch of other teams played today. You know, a bunch of good NBA players, and other countries had some good battles. So we're gonna go ahead and run that down. I'm gonna start with Team USA. They played Montenegro, and it was a little closer than some would have expected, but they got the win, 85-73. Were any of you guys able to watch this?
I saw a little bit of it. I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Unfortunately,
I saw a little bit of it.
Extremely early, so it's hard for us to watch it. But what were your takeaways from it, Chill?
Anthony Edwards really couldn't get anything going early, and he was able to pick it up in the second half in terms of scoring. But in the first half, like, defensively, he wasn't bad. And I think that team struggled. Like Jaren Jackson, which I immediately thought about Damo with this, because that Montenegro team, they had a big who wasn't that bad. He was actually pretty good. And if you run up on a team, you run up on a crew, to Damo's point, with a backup big that Paolo has to deal with, that's something like that, they could be trouble. That's not to say that they would beat them, but they could be trouble. And Montenegro had a big who, he wasn't bad. He was actually pretty good. And he gave the Americans trouble. So
did he
that
give
could
the
be a
Americans
problem,
trouble, or did he give Paolo trouble?
He just gave the Americans trouble.
Okay.
So and I think it's a cause for concern. They gotta show up that big man spot.
Was anybody else able to watch the game? And before you do go, I just want to kind of give some clarity to a couple stats for the stat heads out there. To Anthony Edwards, he finished with 17, but he literally didn't score in the first half. So all of his 17 came in the second half. Jaren Jackson Jr. had 11 points. Austin Reeves came off the bench and had 12. Tyrese Halliburton, per usual, led the team in assists with 6. Him and Mikal Bridges both had 10 points. And on the other team, if you don't know Montenegro, they have Nikola Vucevic.
What about Brandon Ingram? What did Brandon Ingram do?
Brandon Ingram came off the bench and had 2 points.
God damn.
In 15 minutes.
Brandon Ingram having 2 points is unacceptable, and Anthony Edwards not scoring in the first half is unacceptable. Those two young fellas need to step it up.
Josh Hart, Jalen
Edwards
Brunson
did too.
had 4.
In the second half, he got going. In the second half, from a scoring standpoint, Big Ops, he got going. He got that long ball going. He got more aggressive. He wasn't really that aggressive in the first half in terms of shooting the basketball, but he got going in the second half.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, Chitchat. I'm like, I feel that he turned it up. But for Anthony Edwards to be who I expect him to be and who I know you expect him to be, I need you to bring that. I need you to bring that dog at all times, early. You know what I'm saying? You got to be the killer that you are all times. You know what I'm saying? That's obviously I know Anthony Edwards is gonna be okay. I'm just kind of just nitpicking a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for Montenegro, in case you don't know about Montenegro, they have Nikola Vucevic, and he had 18 points in 16
If you
rebounds.
smell that the rock is cooking.
He heard you guys hating on Paolo Banchero's backup center minutes, man.
Mm-hmm.
He heard you.
This game was definitely a game where I would have liked to have seen Walker Kessler play a little bit more. Definitely, I would have liked to have seen him play a little bit more to give because, like I said, I didn't see much of the game. I saw some of it, and from what I saw, like Montenegro had a big guy who was trouble, and not only was he trouble, they had some trouble on the backboard. So I would like to have seen Walker Kessler play a little bit more because I think he could have shored up a lot of the game. They won.
Well, shut your mouth.
It's not that simple though, Ticket. It's
shut
not
your mouth.
Did they win or lose the game?
Did they win or lose the game?
So it's that simple because they won.
Did they win or lose the game by double digits?
Okay, so that's
well, know your role and shut your mouth, jabroni.
It was just that simple. They just won. All right, okay. Matter of fact, we're done with this. They won, so there's nothing to talk about.
It's a 7-game series.
Don't worry about it being a 7-game series. Ticket. They won. Yeah, don't worry about that.
It's a one-off. They lost. Get their ass up out of here. Next.
All right. Let's get them up out of here. That's simple.
I don't want to change the subject or go back, but I was just, I was thinking about when we was talking about it. I would really like to hear Ticket's take on that Pistons talk we was talking about. I know we already passed. I don't want to go too far into it, but I'm curious to know, like, who do you think will win between 04 and Bad Boys Pistons? Ticket.
7-game series.
04.
And why is that?
04 because I thought their defense was better. You know what I'm saying? I just thought their defense was better. I thought the 04 defense was better than the Bad Boys because Rodman wouldn't have been able to pull that shit off he was doing on Ben Wallace. Rodman and Lambeer. Rodman was too built. I mean, Ben Wallace was too built for that. And Rashid gave you an offensive aspect that would have pulled Lambeer or Dennis Rodman away from the basket, so they wouldn't have been able to help around the basket. Dan Wallace would have been able to eat up the boards. They didn't have a stretch big, so that would have hurt them in that series.
Lambeer can shoot.
No, he was not no 3-point stretch big shooter. He wasn't worried about him taking you away from the basket consistently. I'm gonna say it again. He was not worried about.
You know better than that, Ticket.
If I say that I'm a hater.
Don't do that, Ticket. You know better.
Well, you weren't there, Mars. You weren't there.
What was Bill Lambeer's 3-point percentage?
Good.
What does that have?
Someone look it up.
I'm asking
right
now. I got to
someone look it up.
For 89, he was shooting 35% from the three.
And how many threes was he shooting?
1.1.
Okay, we're not worried about that.
Rashid Wallace.
Hold on.
I'm about to say, yeah, I'll see the total he shot in the playoffs. Hold on.
He was shooting a lot of 16-footers, 18-footers.
No.
Rashid shot 24% in the playoffs in 04.
He did.
You asked me about a series against them. I'm telling you, Rashid would have been able. He would have taken advantage of his matchup because he would have been able to take those guys out to the 3-point line. Now, Rashid takes those guys out to the 3-point line. Let's just say Dennis Rodman's guarding Rashid because Rashid's at the 4 and Ben's at the 5. Real quick,
36% in the playoffs shooting 3 a game.
Who?
Bill Lambeer.
36%. Right, that wasn't against.
Yeah. Exactly. He picked it up. Yeah. The playoff runs. He was
saying it wasn't against the 04 Pistons.
I'm not saying.
Keep going, Ticket. I'm with you, Ticket. Keep going. Ticket. You talking about Rashid Wallace? You talking about Rashid Wallace at the long ball line? Let's get back to that. Let's get back to Rashid Wallace at the long ball.
Bob asked me my opinion. As soon as I say my opinion, I get attacked. But before I even finish my opinion,
no, I agree with most of what you're saying.
I'm just saying. When you look at the situation, dog, Ben Wallace would have ate all the glass in that series because Rashid is stretching dudes away. He's pulling Dennis. If they put Dennis Rodman on Rashid, that's a problem because now you got two volatile dudes that's guarding each other. But here's the difference. Rashid was more offensively looking for his numbers. So that would have been more of a problem to take Dennis Rodman away from the basket because of his rebounding ability. That would have cut Dennis Rodman's rebounding abilities in half, especially with guys like Ben Wallace who eat glass too. So now you're talking about Ben Wallace and Bill Lambeer. Well, Ben Wallace is a better chance of guarding and recovering with Bill Lambeer on the perimeter than any other big man Bill Lambeer was going to see due to what Ben Wallace's his athleticism, strength, and it's just ability to recover, his ability to play defense at an all-time great level. So, which Bill Lambeer was not. So then we go at the guard play. Yes, you would have had a problem with Isaiah Thomas, but they also had very good guard play that would have been able to get into Isaiah Thomas. You had guys like Lindsey Hunter that come off the bench. That's Isaiah would have never been able to get a break because Lindsey's picking you up full court, crazy chest to chest. You see what I'm saying? Then you have guys like Rip Hamilton. Well, who's chasing Rip Hamilton off the screens all day? That's going to have to be Joe Dumars. So is Joe Dumars' numbers going to be the same chasing him off the screens? And then if you wanted to, if you're those Pistons, here's the X factor what the Pistons had. What they could do with Tayshaun Prince defensively. They could move Tayshaun Prince to Joe Dumars or to Isaiah Thomas, and that would give them hellified problems with his length and athleticism. Stop playing with me when we talk basketball. Listen to what I say before you start running your candy ass mouth. Next.
W Bob for asking tickets.
I agree with a lot of that. I really think Ben Wallace would be the best player on the floor in that series. Ben Wallace would be the biggest difference maker.
I'm thinking about how physical the Detroit Pistons are and the bad boy Pistons are, and Ben Wallace being arguably the worst free throw shooter in NBA history, how much that would affect his game, how much that would affect their game. I saw that going on in the Eastern Conference Championship in 2006, where the Miami Heat actually instituted that, where like they had to hack the Shaq. Well, they did the same thing with Ben Wallace. And
you can semi. I feel you're coming from that, but that's not going to determine the game. What's going to determine that series and that series that they're playing in the series is rebounding and defense. And I'm looking at the better defensive team. And the reason why I say that is because the 2004 Pistons had so many different options. And then to have a guy like Tayshaun Prince in his prime with his ability, you putting him on a guy like Isaiah, it's going to be hard for Isaiah to get off shots. If you're going to tell me Kobe Bryant's going to struggle getting off shots against Tayshaun Prince, don't tell me Isaiah Lord Thomas, who's 6 foot tall, 6'1" at best. You mean to tell me you think he's going to get off consistent good looks against Tayshaun Prince or Joe Dumars? Man, y'all lost your damn mind, especially with the length and the athleticism of Tayshaun Prince and his elite defense, and he was in his prime. Sorry.
I think Ticket made a very good point with I too believe that this series is the biggest factors are going to be defense and rebounding. And on the bad boys, the best defense and rebounder is Dennis Rodman. And I think Rodman would be pulled away from the rim more. And he was a fantastic perimeter defender, and that would still factor in. But I think his rebounding would be diminished in this series.
And I can say the same thing about
there's only one Rasheed Wallace.
And I can say the same thing about Rasheed Wallace. His ability to rebound would be.
But you didn't need his ability to rebound in that series because Ben Wallace.
Yes, you did.
Absolutely,
you did. Yes, you would. No, you're not telling me that.
No, well, I'm telling you this all facts. Ben Wallace, if you go back and look when they won the championship, he ate the glass for the team. He averaged like 18 rebounds and nobody else averaged 5. So you're not going to tell me that they needed somebody else to rebound when Ben Wallace was eating glass the whole series. Well, he controlled the whole series.
He was.
Rasheed was still giving you good rebounds.
That's not true. Right. That's not true.
Even if there's no way you telling me that team was that great defensively with Ben Wallace being the sole rebounder. Don't get me wrong. He was cleaning glass, but Rasheed Wallace was sticking.
Rasheed was still giving you like 8 to 10. Rasheed was still giving you like 8 to 10.
You just said.
Bro, how many rebounds? Hold on. What is Dennis Rodman doing if he has to guard Rasheed Wallace on the perimeter? Because you can't leave Sheed open. You're not putting Bill Laimbeer.
And you know who else you can't leave open? You can't leave Bill Laimbeer open either. So those two things, you can't do that neither. Right? I'm not saying that Ben Wallace, I'm not saying that Rasheed Wallace doesn't shoot the long ball better, but Bill Laimbeer was one of the first stretch fives. So he stopped and popped in transition. He played pick and pop with Isaiah Thomas. So he's dragging Rasheed Wallace away from the basket. He's dragging Ben Wallace away from the basket. He's dragging those guys away from the basket. And the idea that Ben Wallace is the only rebounder. Tayshaun Prince stuck his nose in there and rebounded. Rasheed Wallace stuck his nose in there and rebounded. This dude wasn't just 1 or 2 rebounds. This dude was just getting all the rebounds.
No, I mean, I can tell you, Rasheed was giving him 8 to 10 pretty much every series.
Let's deal in facts. Mars, that year they won the championship in 2004. How many rebounds was Ben Wallace averaging in the finals that year against Shaq?
Probably about 13, 14.
So in the Eastern Conference, Hold on one second. Chill. Hold on 1 second.
Mars, how many rebounds was Ben Wallace averaging that series?
In 2004.
The year they won the chip, against the Lakers.
Like 15, 16, I think, in the finals.
No, hold on. I want Mars to get the exact number. That way we won't have no confusion.
13.6.
Now, who was the second leader rebounder on the team? Who was the second leader rebounder on the team, Mars?
Rasheed.
Wait, how much he average?
Like 8.
Okay,
so
okay.
8
So we're gonna hold on. So let's say this, Chill. We're gonna stop Rasheed from getting 7 rebounds in that series.
What do you mean? Are we going to stop Rasheed Wallace from getting 7?
No, I'm saying you don't think Rasheed could get 7 rebounds a game against the bad boy Pistons?
I do think that he can rebound against the bad boy Pistons, but I also think that Dennis Rodman can rebound against Ben Wallace.
Well, no, I agree with you, but I'm saying this is where the disconnect comes right here.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Rasheed? I mean, excuse me, where is Dennis Rodman? Who is he guarding? Is he guarding Ben or is he guarding Rasheed? Because you ain't putting Bill Laimbeer on Rasheed Wallace. You ain't doing that. You're not telling me you doing that.
Who else? Well, that's what's
Rodman's going to be on Rasheed. You're not going to waste Rodman on Tayshaun Prince.
If Rodman's on Rasheed,
Rick Mahorn is going to have to. So Rick Mahorn is going to have to cover Rasheed Wallace. Not just Rick Mahorn. Rick Mahorn is going to have to cover Rasheed Wallace. Dennis is going to have to cover him from time to time. So it's not just like he's just going to solely be responsible for him. No, Dennis is going to have to cover Rasheed Wallace.
I'm saying when he's in it. Hold on. I'm saying Bill Laimbeer is your starter. He's in the game. He playing the 5. He's checking Big Ben. That's an easier cover for him. He has to do that because he really doesn't have to worry about because Big Ben wasn't going to be aggressive. Even though in the NBA Finals, I think Big Ben averaged a double-double. Am I right, Mars?
In the NBA Finals?
Yeah. He could have been the Finals MVP. He averaged how many points he averaged in the Finals, Mars?
I think it was 10, but
he averaged a double-double in the NBA Finals. So I'm just saying, so let's say you got Bill Laimbeer guarding Ben. Okay, cool. The problem is that Rasheed Wallace lived on the 3-point line. And that was the problem, that you could not leave him because he'll make you pay. The second you leave Rasheed, he will make you pay. So if Dennis Rodman was gambling, why would he be gambling? Because he doesn't have to go to play to Ben Wallace. Those Pistons didn't have one ISO player that was going to break you down that made you gamble to go double that guy. The problem with that Pistons team is they had great balance, great chemistry, great camaraderie as a team. So now you're not looking at one individual player to say, oh, we're going to go double team him and trap him and get the ball out of his hands. So if Rasheed Wallace is playing the pick and pop with Chauncey, Big Shot, Billups, how in the world is Dennis Rodman, who has to pay attention on that right there, how is he going to go get you 17 or 15, 16 rebounds a game when he's on the perimeter the whole time? Meanwhile, Big Ben is down there. He gets to battle with Bill Laimbeer under the basket where he gets to eat glass. That's all I'm saying to you, Chill.
Which is fair.
Chill, you still hold on, Chill, 1 second. You still didn't count my point about Tayshaun Prince. Right. What was they going to do with Mars? This is what Chilltown got to do. He got to explain how was they going to get around guarding Tayshaun Prince. Who was guarding Tayshaun? Who was scoring on Tayshaun on their guards? Who was consistently at that time? Yeah, if Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest players that ever played a game of basketball, the only person on earth that don't acknowledge him as top 10 is your clown ass. Who else would have been able to just go and demoralize him at that time? And I'm talking about Tayshaun Prince.
So number one, nobody said that he was going to be able to score like that on him. Nobody said that. But they are. Joe Dumars is going to be able to score. Mark Aguirre is going to be able to score. These guys can score. We're talking about a Tayshaun Prince. We're talking about a Tayshaun Prince who just came into the league. He was in his 2nd year. Tayshaun Prince wasn't a lockdown defender. Tayshaun Prince was a good he just showed up to the NBA.
Tayshaun was up and down in 04. He was very young.
Don't make it sound like this dude was in year 6.
What happened when Tayshaun Prince got to the final? Hold on. What did Tayshaun Prince do to Kobe in the final?
Let's talk about what the Detroit Pistons did.
What did Tayshaun Prince do when it was time to win the chip? What did he do to Kobe in the finals?
Okay, let's stop talking about Tayshaun.
If you look at the Eastern Finals,
damn,
I ain't asked you. Hold on.
So again, this is what you're telling me. Okay,
what did he do against Kobe? What did he do against Kobe in the finals? One of the greatest offensive players ever.
I can't believe that we're talking about Kobe Bryant because I already know where this is going. But yes, we are. In Kobe Bryant's words, what happened against the Detroit Pistons in 04? Quote, Kobe Bryant, we allowed them to push us further away from the basket. That's what happened. We allowed them to get our offense start. No, don't make your face like that, Ticket. This is Kobe Bryant's words. We allowed them to push us further away from the basket. Not Tayshaun Prince pushing me. We allowed them to push us further away from the basket. And then them pushing us further away from the basket, we couldn't get into our offense. That doesn't mean that Tayshaun Prince completely shut down Kobe Bryant. That's not what happened. That's number one. Now, we're talking about a Tayshaun Prince who just showed up to the NBA. He was in year 2 in that 03-04 season, and he gets on a defensive unit that's really good. But what you're discounting how long that Detroit Pistons team had been together, with Joe Dumars being there as long as he's been there, with Dennis Rodman being there as long as he's been there, with Bill Lambert, with Rick Mahorn, with Vinnie Johnson, with Isaiah Thomas, with these guys being there for as long as they'd been there. And then, like you just mentioned, the camaraderie that they had and the defensive prowess that they had and how they were on the same page and how they basically devised a scheme to slow down Michael Jordan. I am 100% confident that a team in the Detroit Pistons in 04 who weren't that great offensively, if we could slow down the great Michael Jordan, we could deal with you dudes. We could deal with you dudes too offensively.
Pistons weren't great in 04.
Offensively.
No, I ain't talking about offensively. I'm talking about defensively.
That's what I'm talking about. Offensively. And I think that the Detroit Pistons in 89 were better offensively. And I think that we can deal with these dudes.
Don't take us off the big screen like he won, Ron. Put us back on the big screen. Don't take us off the big screen like he had the last word and won. Because this simpleton still didn't answer the question. Now I'm gonna say it again. Who's a better scorer? Kobe Bryant or Isaiah Thomas, y'all?
Bryant.
Okay. What did Tayshaun Prince do to Kobe Bryant?
He didn't do anything to him. He didn't do anything. It was a crew. Brian already said it for the last time. They pushed us away from the basket.
I don't give a damn what Kobe said. I saw Tayshaun Prince blocking that ass up. So did everybody else. Hey, bro, ask everybody in the comment section. Did Tayshaun Prince lock Kobe up in that final? Because the truth is, and Kobe is my favorite player of all time. The truth is, Tayshaun Prince made Kobe Bryant take the toughest, difficult shots that he's ever taken, and he bricked a lot of them shits because Tayshaun had hands in his face. He was physical with Kobe Bryant. He pushed Kobe Bryant away from the basket, and Kobe Bryant went crazy trying to overcome that challenge that he wasn't ready to overcome that series. You're trying to dismiss that as if a 6'1" Isaiah Thomas, who was way lesser of a scorer than Kobe Bryant, who had way lesser than a bag than Kobe Bryant, who wasn't on a physical level of Kobe Bryant, somehow, some way, he was going to be effective against a young, long, lengthy Tayshaun Prince that was key. We ain't talking about no Penny Annie, Rudy Poo, candy ass. We talking about key to them winning the NBA Finals that year. Because if he doesn't disarm Kobe Bryant the way he do, the Los Angeles Lakers probably win that series. Because the only game they won that series is when Kobe Bryant hit the game winner. And that's all I got to say about that.
So with all of that being said, so Isaiah Thomas, who was effective against Clyde Drexler, he was effective against him, who was a damn good defender. He was effective against him in the NBA Finals, but he can't be effective against a second-year Tayshaun Prince. The reason why he can't be effective against a second-year Tayshaun Prince because of the team defense that they had. Team defense that they had, how good they were as a unit. I'm not taking away from Tayshaun Prince as an individual defender. I'm taking away from what they were as a crew. And I think that offensively, that crew with Joe Dumars, with Isaiah Thomas, and that bench that the Detroit Pistons had was way better offensively than the bench that the Detroit Pistons had in 04. So with Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas and Bill Lambert stretching the defense like he stretched the defense, and that unit coming off the bench, Mark Aguirre being a part of that first unit, they were better offensively, and I think they overcome what the Detroit
Pistons
Pistons
wasn't a problem. Chilltown, the Lakers were better offensively. The Lakers were one of the better offensive teams ever. Guess what the Pistons did to their ass? They put them hoes in jail, locked the key, and threw it somewhere underneath the whatever. You couldn't even find it. It's somewhere on Pluto right now, the key still to that series. So all that stuff you're saying, it really doesn't matter, bro, because the Detroit Pistons game was dedicated and predicated off locking you down. And that is what they did at the elite level in 2004. And that, hold on, chill down. And that is why they made easy, and The Rock says easy work of the Los Angeles Lakers and the two of the most dominant players in NBA history in their prime. They got them out of there in 5 games, predicated off defense. Don't tell me that you're going to take 2 dudes who weren't 2 of the most offensive great players in the game of basketball, and Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars, and then all of a sudden they're going to just up the ass, do something that we ain't never seen before, that we didn't even see Shaq and freaking Kobe Bryant do. What the hell is wrong with you, man?
Offensively, who was saying that they basically running up the score? But you're not going to sit here and talk to me about them making easy work, because last I checked, the Los Angeles Lakers, they swept them out the playoffs. Yeah, I know Magic got hurt, but they proved it wasn't a fluke the next year. By why? By smoking the Blazers in 5 games. So that logic that you're talking about the Detroit Pistons, that doesn't work.
What do you mean smoking the Blazers? We ain't talking about the Blazers. We talking about the Detroit Pistons. Once again, don't get off topic. Stay your ass on topic.
I'm talking about the Detroit Pistons. We talking about the Detroit Pistons. What are you talking about, Ticket?
Chill town. Because I'm gonna say this to you. You yourself and Mars. Here's the ether to Chill Town. Chill Town himself would have picked Kobe and Shaq to beat those same Pistons in the finals. Chill Town would have picked the prime Kobe and Shaq to beat those same Pistons he talking shit about. He would have picked those Lakers to beat those dudes because he would have said they had no answer for Shaq. He just said they had no answer for Kobe Bryant. But again, a coach always told me, Chill Town, and this is what you need to listen to again. Offense sell tickets, defense win championships. Sir, again, the Detroit Pistons 04 Pistons were predicated off of their elite defense. That year, just like you was arguing yesterday about Jamal Murray and that being his coming out party in the NBA Finals, well, guess what? That was Tayshaun Prince's coming out party defensively in that NBA Finals. Because then the next year, he made all defense the next year right after that. Because dudes started putting respect on his name while he guarded Kobe Bryant. Because nobody saw that he was going to do something like that to Kobe. And if he could do it, if anybody, and The Rock means anybody, could do that to Kobe Bean Bryant, don't tell me they couldn't do that to Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, and Mark Aguirre. They didn't have the same bag, sucker. So cut this capping ass shit out. Take your loss like a man and walk off.
If you say so.
All right, yo, Pirate. I know you were trying to get something off, so go ahead, and then we're gonna go ahead and keep it pushing. But what? Because you eagerly was trying to say something, so go ahead.
No, I just really love this conversation because like I love this matchup. I've already said a bunch of times I got the 04 Pistons. I think we shouldn't put too much weight in what either team did in the finals because the fact is both teams played cooked teams in the finals. The Lakers were toast. They had prime Kobe, they had prime Shaq. That's all they had. But that's literally all they had. Then they had Peyton and Malone and Devin George and
right there, Pirate. Right there. How the hell were the Lakers toast? They had how many championships had the Lakers just won?
They apparently were tired.
No,
They apparently were tired by the time they got to these finals.
I ain't asked you that. How many championships had the Lakers won? Come on, Pirate. You're supposed to be a basketball encyclopedia.
Two. No.
Three.
Okay. You said they were toast, right? Now, so they were toast. How many? Hold on. How many more championships did Kobe go on to win after that?
Well, yeah, with a different team.
I ain't asked you that. Didn't Shaq go on to win another championship after that too?
Yeah, no, I'm saying they were great. They were fantastic. I'm just talking about top to bottom, the roster.
Hold on. So my point is, and here's a question that's going to destroy your ass right now. And we can go ahead and egg you.
I agree with like virtually everything you said.
No, because you're not going to do that because you said they were toast. So I'm going to eat your sorry ass.
But in the finals.
Hold on. You a goddamn line. I'm going to tell you why. If they were toast, do you think if Kobe and Shaq would have never broke up, they would have won no more championships?
No, I think they had a very good chance to keep winning. Yeah.
Okay, when they shut the hell up, they wasn't toast. Next.
Ticket. Hold on. In that finals, who were the two players who played the third and fourth most minutes in that finals?
You cannot play this game with me. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever fucking was.
Ticket, answer my question. Ticket, answer my question, please. Ticket, please answer my question. Ticket, answer my question, please. Ticket, hold on. Ticket, please answer my question.
Answer the question, Ticket.
Answer my question, please. Who played the third and fourth most minutes in that final?
Yeah, look, I cook them, and they had to jump because they couldn't beat me one-on-one.
Ticket. You got two questions to answer. No, Ticket. We need you to answer these questions. First, let's go start with Pirate's question.
My question is, who played the third and fourth most minutes for the Lakers in that finals?
Who gives a damn?
We need an answer. No, Ticket. We need an answer.
Hold on.
No, Ticket. We need an answer.
Hold on. At that time, with Kobe and Shaq in their prime, you could have went and got goddamn Moley from Holy Moly Donut Shop to play the third most minutes.
That's basically what they did.
Hold on. It didn't matter.
That's basically what they did.
If you looked at hold on one second. If you looked at the Lakers roster, it wasn't predicated off who played the third most minutes. It was predicated off what did Kobe and Shaquille do. The role players came in and stepped up big at certain times, like
They
B-Shaw,
didn't at
like
all
Robert.
in that finals.
Hold on.
Nobody did.
I'm gonna cook your ass thoroughly. Now hold on. When you say toast and done, toast is Dwayne Wade after him and LeBron James went to 4 NBA finals. That's toast. That when you ain't got no more left in the clip and LeBron leaves and goes to Cleveland, right? Toast is, sir, and I'm gonna say this to you again. Toast is after the Boston Celtics lost in the finals to the Lakers again, and there was no more left in the clip to get back. That's toast.
Ticket.
You just said yourself that Kobe and Shaq, you thought they could have won. Hold on. You said you thought they could have went on to win more championships, and you know what that means? That means
with
you
a
didn't
different
give a damn.
roster,
Hold on.
with adding other players.
Listen. That means if you feel like Kobe and Shaq could have went on to win more championships, that means you ain't give a damn who they put around them because you didn't say it.
No, that's not what it means at all. That's not what it means at all.
Hold on.
Toast is running out. Toast is running out Gary Payton and a 40-year-old Karl Malone as your third and fourth most minutes, and then Luke Walton, and nobody on that team could score more than 5 points a game.
That's not what he said.
Hold on.
That's not what he said.
Hold on. Because I gotta let Pirate get his 4 point off. Hold up.
Ask your other question, Byron. Ask your other, because I burnt you on the first question. You said the Lakers were toast, and that's bullshit. They weren't toast because you said your own words. One more chip.
Devin George, Luke Walton. You got Gary Payton and 40-year-old Karl Malone playing the third and fourth most minutes on the team. They were toast.
Hold on. Hey, don't say nothing, Mars. Don't say nothing. See, I'm gonna tell everybody on YouTube something. This is why they have me on the Player's Choice. Because it's levels to this shit. I want y'all to think about what this clown just said. Hey, Mars, I'm going to ask my
agreed with most everything you said. This was just a side point.
I'm getting ready to drop your ass off right now. Mars, I'm going to ask you a question to the tag team champion of the world. Did Gary Payton win a championship before or after the Lakers?
After.
Now, shut your dumb ass up.
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Was Gary Payton starting? Hold on, time out. That's my point, jackass.
Luke Walton won a championship after too. I guess that counts.
Hold on, I'm going to say it again to you. This man just
Luke Walton's ring coming afterwards.
I'm going to tell you why your argument was flawed. You just used Gary Payton as an example for the Lakers and why they were toast. You used Gary Payton. Hold on. But that same Gary Payton. Hold on.
He played the third most minutes.
Pirate, are you going to let me finish my statement?
Absolutely,
This is why when we don't cut each other off, I cook these niggas.
Keep going, Ticket.
Because my point is legit.
Keep going, Ticket.
So that same Gary Payton, who you said was washed, went and started for the Miami Heat after that and won a championship with two other great players in LeBron James and D Wade, sucker. Now shut your ass up. So that's not an excuse.
Gary Payton was not on the crew with LeBron James. He was on the crew with Shaq.
Oh, excuse me. With Shaq and D Wade. I mean, with Shaq and D Wade. So that, hey, hold on. Shaq and D Wade. That's not an excuse. Hold on. Shaq and D Wade. That's not an excuse, sir. So that's the. And guess what? That was an older Shaq and a D Wade. So that's not an excuse. Your ass is grass, man. Next, ask your next question. Because I'm gonna cook your ass again. Go ahead.
No, I only had that one question. I was going back to mainly agree with most of your points.
Now you ain't got two questions, Ron. Now you don't got two questions. Okay, go ahead.
Did anyone else have another question? Go.
I don't have any questions, man. We went over this and Ticket got a broken rib. I got a black eye. Can we move on?
No, my rib ain't broke. My shit feel good.
I did have a comment though. I mean, my main comment was that
I would jump in there too.
My shit feel good.
I would jump in there too. So
hey, but like I said to this jabroni, once again, Ron, this is why these dudes cook themselves. This man just came on here and told everybody that Gary Payton. That's why I said the third and fourth player was Shaq. It didn't matter how many minutes they played. The only thing that mattered was the small contributions that those guys gave. Whether Robert Horry hit a big shot here or there. B. Shaw hit a big shot. D. Fish hit a big shot and played good defense. That's what mattered for the Lakers as far as the role players. It wasn't mattering about the minutes. So that stuff didn't matter. When they lost to the Pistons, it's because the Pistons were a superiorly great defensive team that was well prepared, that locked in and took away the Lakers' two best assets, Kobe and Shaq.
Ticket.
That's what they did.
You must have missed the beginning. I've said the 04 Pistons are the greatest defensive unit that I have ever seen. I'm not Ticket. My main point it wasn't to diminish the Lakers. It was simply to say in this conversation, these two teams these two teams are so great. I just think there's so much to talk about with these teams that we shouldn't focus too much on the finals, because the fact is that the bad boys played a crazy diminished Lakers and the Blazers were totally cooked.
I call Damo a hater. I ain't gonna say that today. Damo, look at what this man trying to sell you. Chilltown's trying to sell you that Bill. Hold on, Chilltown is trying to sell y'all that Bill Laimbeer was some deep ball threat that teams had to worry about.
Ticket.
He can shoot.
Wait, Ticket. Just so you know, I did take the 89. I did take the Bad Boys Pistons in this matchup. Just saying.
I ain't see those.
Report. All right, y'all. I'm really sitting
here listening to this dude talking about Bill Laimbeer, who doesn't stretch the floor. He's not a deep ball threat like Bill Laimbeer. You know what, Ron?
You said what?
I'm good. Ticket. Everything the Ticket does in terms of his argument, the majority of it is antics. The majority of his stuff is antics. The majority of his stuff is showmanship. When we actually get down to the facts, that stuff gets thrown out the window because we're talking about I'm a jabroni or he's laughing and insulting me, completely leaving out. If you go ask people who know basketball and tell them, not even ask them, if you go back and talk to people and say, was Bill Laimbeer a threat from shooting the long ball? If you say he wasn't, they will laugh at you because you are completely and utterly wrong. Bill Laimbeer actually got criticized for shooting the long ball because the big man back then, his job was to play on the block. Bill Laimbeer didn't do that. He was the original stretch five where he was shooting the long ball. Not only was he shooting the long ball, he was picking and popping at the 17-foot line with Isaiah Thomas. So the idea that Bill Laimbeer was not doing that, you completely don't know who he is. And what that does is that suggests who you are, Ticket, when we're talking about basketball. So you shut your ass up.
Damn, chill froze Ticket with facts. That's how you chill a nigga. All right, we're gonna keep it pushing. I'm assuming Ticket will come back. I don't think Chill ran him off the show. But let's go ahead and talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. That's what we're here to do, and we finally got here. You see the title of the show says Giannis and the Bucks are on a revenge tour, and it will start now. I want to know if that's how you guys feel, or I want to know if you think the Bucks are cooked. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna talk about some of their offseason transactions and some of their offseason losses. And then I'm gonna go ahead and ask you guys that good question: what do you expect from the Bucks, and what do you think they're gonna do this year? So they obviously they re-signed Chris Middleton, they re-signed Brook Lopez, and they also got Robin Lopez, they got Malik Beasley, and they got Jay Crowder. Who they lost was Javon Carter, they lost Joe Ingles, and they lost Wesley Matthews as well. So Mars, I'm gonna start with you, and I'm gonna ask you, what are your predictions for what the Bucks will do this year?
It depends on how good of a coach Adrian Griffin is, and I don't know what to expect. I know he's been an assistant in Toronto for like the last 4 or 5 years. Maybe that means he's a great defensive coach. I don't know, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he's better than Bud. So I think they've upgraded, but I do think it entirely depends on how good of a coach he is and how far the Bucks go. If I had to guess, I'd probably say conference finals and then they lose to like Boston. But I do think it's entirely dependent on how well he uses Giannis. If Chris Middleton is able to be back to somewhat of what he was in 21, because he's been dealing with injuries for the better part of the last, I don't know, season and a half. They need his shot creation back. Brook Lopez hopefully doesn't start to decline. I know he's 35. I'm optimistic for Marjon Beauchamp. I liked him a lot coming into the league. He didn't play a whole lot last year because he was a rookie, but I liked him in the G League. I'm hoping he can be a contributor for them next year, but his lack of a jump shot is probably the biggest concern. They got another rookie, Andre Jackson, who can't shoot at all, which is baffling to me. They're just getting a lot of people who can't shoot when Giannis is their best player. But he's another all-around player who might be able to give them some meaningful minutes. So yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say conference finals. But they could. I wouldn't be surprised if they went and won it all.
Okay.
Chill, I heard you were still
what are your
talking when I
predictions
got a
for
phone call. Chill, I heard you were still being disrespectful.
Well, it sounds like Shelly about to answer that. That's fine. I would say, Ron, I find it highly disrespectful how you leave out one of the biggest acquisitions to show that the Bucks are like serious about winning. They signed third Antetokounmpo, Alex, today.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they signed
Nepotism running rampant in the Bucks organization.
It is,
Nice.
y'all. Yes, it is.
Giannis.
They heard Giannis was contemplating not re-signing. Here's your next brother. Here you go.
Facts.
There you go.
Next thing you know, Coast is going to be. They're going to have 4 brothers. It's going to be crazy.
My cousin,
but
you can get him on too.
It's going to be the Milwaukee Antetokounmpos.
I'm glad you said that, Damo. And Giannis is my favorite player in the game today, right now. That's a disgrace, bro. Like, because your brothers suck. I'm just going to be honest, man. Your brothers are garbage, man. Them niggas trash, bro. Like, that is beyond, to me, abuse of power, bro. Like, and I love Giannis as a basketball player. But for a team to sign those 2 guys who, do you see Thaddeus, bro? He literally is like the 15th cheerleader over in the sideline. What does he bring? You're using NBA roster spots. This guy's saying, y'all say I want to win a championship, but you're using roster spots to make this dude happy. That's bullshit, in my opinion. I don't like that, bro, because there's dudes out there that really deserve that roster spot. And you got Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the biggest scrubs in the NBA outside of Killian Hayes. Shout out to Mars. But now you bring the other brother. We ain't even have
Lopez's brother.
Bring the coaster dude. He brought the other dude. Man, come on, man. Come on, bro.
He was in the
Damo,
G
I'm
League
sorry,
last
Damo.
year. He was on the Bucks G League team last
As you were saying, Damo, my man.
Yeah, go ahead, Damo.
Outside of signing, obviously signing the biggest X factor, Alex. I think bringing on Malik Beasley. I mean, even though he didn't pan out fully for the Lakers, I feel like he can help them. Well needed shooting and just some grit. I'm another part, just like Mars. I'm definitely interested in seeing what Marjan can do. I was kind of interested in him after seeing some improvements he made in the summer league. Heard a couple interviews, liked how he was talking, liked his attitude. Worked out with Giannis over the summer and said he kind of felt he took a step mentally when it came to the game of basketball. So excited to see what they do there. I'm just glad they kept this unit together. We've seen the in recent history in the NBA, where a lot of these teams that either win or get close to winning, they're quick to blow it up. So the fact that they're bringing back Brook Lopez and getting Robin back, the fact that they're doubling down with Chris Middleton, I hope, the fact that they're keeping a Bobby Portis, they're not letting go of Drew at this moment. They're just gonna bring these guys back, running back, because their best player got hurt last year, and they thought that was a big reason why they weren't able to compete. This is honestly a championship contending unit. They won in 2021. They had a good chance, and there were many people favorites as well as mine coming out the East in 2022. Well, in 2023, I mean, and I have no reason to think that they won't contend next year. I didn't realize they had Ty Washington as well. That's a two-way guy, which if he gets a chance, I feel like he can actually be pretty well. I like Ty on the Rockets. Me personally, he was a young guy I was really interested in. Chris, they got a couple like young guys on this team where it's like, I understand this is a competing team, but just like how Christian Brown was with the Nuggets, I feel like they have young guys who can give you solid minutes of their rotation pieces and show their value. Chris Livingston, a guy I've been watching for a minute. I really hope he gets a chance to show what he is in the NBA, produce a little bit of good minutes, and just, trade Grayson Allen. I will say that. Get him the fuck out of there. That's one thing I will say. I'm not a Duke guy, and I definitely don't like dirty Duke players. So if it's one thing I would say, definitely move Grayson Allen. Did Jay Crowder play for them last year?
Yeah, he came late. He didn't really play.
He came late. Did
Few
he
games. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He played a few
No,
games.
he
All
played.
right.
He played. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I don't remember him playing, but hopefully Jay Crowder be there, and he also is able to add some type of veteran leadership, some more range for that team, defensive presence as well. Just stay healthy. Just Giannis stay healthy. The rest of his team stay healthy, and hopefully they can compete. Then hopefully I get to see a 3 Antetokounmpo, 2 Lopez lineup just for the hell of it.
All right, y'all. Moving along, Ox, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Man, how are you feeling about the Milwaukee Bucks next year? What are your predictions of what they'll do?
First of all, let me start off by saying W nepotism. If you're in NBA, get your brother a job.
Nothing wrong with that, Ox. I'm feeling that all day.
Hold on. It is nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna tell you why. It ain't wrong if you want to get your brother a job. it's wrong when you out here screaming and crying about the team and all this other stuff and what they're doing, and then you using up roster spots for bums. If your brother can't play, hold on. If your brother can't play, because we already know Thanos is straight cheeks. Why are we wasting a roster spot on him for?
All right,
there are other players.
Alex isn't both. Alex isn't a bum though.
Hold on,
hold on. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I'm saying to you,
Ticket. I don't know his youngest brother. Is his youngest brother worse than
No,
Alex got game.
So why he ain't been on no other NBA roster then? Why ain't no other?
He was on.
That's the dude that was with the Lakers.
He was on.
That's Costas.
He was on. Alex was on the Bucks G League team last year.
Okay.
And hold on, but I'll ask you. Hold on, Mars. How much did he average in the G League last year?
Like 6 points.
Got no fucking business being in the NBA. Hold on, time out. He got no goddamn business being in the NBA. He averaged 6 points in the G League because let me tell y'all.
We ain't forget about you, Ox. We ain't forget about.
There's been dudes. We ain't forget about you, Ox. I'm saying this because you try to be a slick, hating ass nigga come against me by saying that. Yes, if you suck, it is a problem. And I'm gonna tell you something. Them dudes, hold on, his brothers are proud. They're walking dump trucks. They're walking dump trucks, Bob. They're walking dump trucks, Bob.
No, but what I'm saying is, Ticket, I'm not hating on you. I wanted your opinion on the Pistons take. You know what I'm saying? First of all, me for asking your opinion because wasn't nobody else finna ask you. So
that's
you
a
know
fact.
What I'm saying?
I didn't say like
big up to me for starting the fight. Big up to me for starting the fight.
Bob, when you talking about an NBA roster, doesn't it matter if you're good or not, bro? Doesn't it matter, bro? Because it could be a real dude like Ron who out here jumping out the gym looking like goddamn Vince Carter.
Well, not Ron,
that deserve to be in that spot. But because this dude got relationships, he can get his raggedy ass brother, who's a scrub, on his roster. He's the averaging 28 to 30. They can't even get on the squad. That's bullshit, bro.
But look,
someone in the chat is saying he just got a training camp spot.
Right, that's all it is. That's all it is, Mom.
Hold on, but Tilltown. That's my point, Tilltown. That could be somebody else's training camp spot. That could be somebody.
But hold on, but wait a second. Hold up. What we saying that like this is. They are 15 spot worthy. Like he's not the 15th man on the team ain't finna play anyway. So it's kind of like
he's got to be great.
But he doesn't have to be.
You never know.
I mean, I
think the perspective is if the Bucks aren't going to use the 15th man, why not use it? Why not use it on someone who can appease your best player? If they're not going to, if he's not going to.
No, but I'm saying no, Mars. My point to Ox said that, but my point to Ox is this: Giannis just came out talking about expectations for the team. So if you're talking about expectations and guys doing their job and having enough to win a championship, why the hell, if you know that for one sorry ass brother Thanos, he can't even get on the court. When he does get on the court, he's absolute cheeks. And then your other brother, you know, he's worse than Thanos. But now you want, so now you're using the two
Alex got game, bro. Alex got game.
Alex is better than Thanasis.
No, Bob. Hold on, Bob. Okay, do we got more game than Kelly Oubre Jr., who's a free agent right now?
And the top 20 defender.
Well, look, okay, let me answer your question. Tiki. Give me a second. Now it's time. It is. I think it might be about time to move off of Big Bro. It might be about time to move off of Big Bro. Thanasis, it might be time for him to go on. And I got big love for Thanasis. Everybody knows this. It might be time for him to take his talents back on the grease. But Alex,
long as Giannis on the crew, Big Ox, that's not happening. But keep going.
He was going to go to the Knicks this offseason.
What I'm saying,
some role playing.
I'm fine with that. I've never turned my nose up to nepotism. If you can give me a job, good looking, bro. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I never turn my nose up to nepotism.
I don't want no hand.
But it's not a handout though. Alex got game. I need if I'm qualified.
Handout. He would have never. If he would have never been eligible if it wasn't for Giannis, it's a handout.
Well, hold on, bro. If I'm qualified, it's not a handout. If I'm qualified, Alex is qualified.
Any G League player is qualified to be in the pros.
That's not
to
true.
be on the training.
That's not true.
The G League exists for a reason.
Some would say he's only in the G League because he's Giannis.
Yeah, some would say that.
Bro, come on, man. Y'all niggas Hey, Mars, I salute you this morning for keeping it 100 with these bozos, man. Bro, the dude ain't good, man. He should have never been in the G League. He should. Matter of fact, he should go ahead and retire from basketball and just become Giannis's ball boy, man. Them dudes ain't basketball players like that, bro. I'm telling you the truth.
If you get a G League contract, you are qualified to be looked at by an NBA team, no matter who you are.
No, you can be looked at. That don't mean you're qualified to be on the roster.
Even if you're the 15th man on the G League roster, an NBA team can go to the 15th man and sign you. You are qualified.
So you can't. Hey, I want everybody in the chat to understand this. Hey, hold on. This is the hate that these Negroes got in heart. They hate so much that they said the last nigga on the G League spot to be able to be on the NBA.
No. Ticket. This is how we get. This is how we get to the bottom of it. Hold on. This is how we get to the bottom of this. Because Ticket's got first-hand experience in this. Ticket played in the G League. Ticket. Are there some dudes that was in the G League that got called up to the NBA?
Nigga, you my coach, nigga. I'm cooking niggas, and this is not no lie because I'm saying this. I can get my coach up here. When Mitch Kupchak, who's running the team, and they say no, we taking so-and-so from the NBA, ex-NBA player who ain't even played the whole camp, and he comes in and makes a roster, and there's only 10 spots at that time to make, and you got two backups, you're gone. You don't know. So word of mouth gets you a long ways. It don't mean that you deserve to be there. The last dudes on G League rosters, sometimes they can't even get contracts overseas. They can't. Bro, look at one of my best friends who played for the Lakers who got a call up. It took him 10 years in the G League, Andre Ingram. I grew up with Andre Ingram. It took him 10 years to get a call up from the G League to the Lakers. Look at the numbers he was putting up in the G League. He was qualified. Look at my other brother who I grew up with, Reggie Williams, who went to the G League and averaged damn near 30. He led the nation in scoring at in D1 his last year in school.
Reggie Williams was called too.
Yes, end up going to the G League, led the G League score, and then end up playing with the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry and them and cooking D Wade on his opening night. Why? Because he put the work in. You look at those rosters, it's dudes that's on those rosters, bro, that should not be there, bro. Motherfuckers like Mike Muscala, bro. Come on, man. We got to be honest about this shit, bro. There was no reason. I'm saying the truth, though. I'm saying the truth, bro. I'm saying the truth. I'm talking about niggas that Bob will thrash right now. A lot of this shit is off relationships, and that's not cool, bro. And that Giannis did that, it's cool that he did it for his brother, but don't talk that shit. I don't want to hear no shit from Giannis after this season if they don't win a chip. And he talking about we ain't have enough help or we had injuries, this and the third, because you using up opportunities with somebody else who can really play or can be seen. For your brother, two of them. So don't do that, bro.
But Alex got he's not even guaranteed, right? It's a camp, so they're giving him a chance to prove himself.
No, but Bob, hold on, Bob. But I understand that, Bob. But when they do that, it's a numbers thing. Ron know this too. Shaq,
I understand that.
So hold. So let me give you a perfect example. This is why Shaq is in the NBA. Shaq should be in the NBA. Shaq, who runs the show, should be in the National Basketball Association right now. There is no question about this. There is no question. You talking about athleticism. You talking about ability to create. You talking about a guy that can stretch the floor and shoot the ball as well. There's no reason why he shouldn't be in the NBA. You go ask Shaq why he ain't in the NBA. Politics.
I've seen.
I'm not mad at Shaq being better than Killian Hayes. I'm not mad at it.
He's way better than Killian Hayes, Mark.
I'm not mad at it, man. I'm not mad at it.
So look. What I'm saying is, I've seen Shaq play for the last 15 years. I know how good he is, but I know it's a lot of politics in basketball. I'm pretty sure everybody that's hooped at a high level have felt politics either for them or against them. That's just a part of the game. It's capitalism and it's politics. We just got to, that's what it is. But all I'm saying is, I think Alex Antetokounmpo should. I don't have any problem with him being on the camp roster, getting a shot to see if he's good enough, because I think the kid has worked hard. He has game. Shout out once again.
So what about the other dudes in the G League that are averaging 20 to 25 points?
Man, well, them niggas need to have better big brothers at basketball.
Yo, Bobby, can we talk about your expectations for the Bucks?
Since beyond that, can we get on that? Let's talk about that.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said previously, I think Giannis is about to come out on a tear, just kind of based on how the season ended last year. I feel bad for everybody who has to play the Bucks for the first 30, 40 games of the season. Giannis is going for 30-point triple-doubles and then some. With that being said, I do like the Bucks to be second round, if not first round exits again this year. I do see Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday taking a slight step back. I'm curious to see about the kid from Seattle, Marjan. I hope his physicality steps up a little bit. I think he got the game. I hope he's not shying away from contact. I want to see some physicality out of him because I think he can really be good. But I'm just I'm seeing that window closing for the Bucks.
All right, Pirate, how are you feeling? Milwaukee Bucks next year.
I wish I could have caught more Giannis last year, but I really needed to set my alarm clock for every Pistons game. Needed to see Isaiah Stewart run up and down the court, But I think they're absolutely title.
Did we lose them?
Over Boston, I think Giannis is prime, an all-time.
Hold up, start from the top. You would zoned out for a second.
Oh, did I? Okay.
I heard they just cut him.
Just made the Bucks cut him. Oh my God.
That's how trash that is.
They cut him. They cut the brother.
Put him on the big screen, Ron.
No way. There's no way they got him. They heard Chitchat go crazy.
What type of hand that Chitchat got? If you goddamn like that, man, you shouldn't be stealing the spot from a dude that could really play, man. Get his ass out of here, man. That man got cut. He got signed one day, and they saw how garbage his ass was, and sent his ass home the next day. Like I told you, Bob, stop capping, nigga.
I'm pretty sure he got signed and cut within 2 hours. I'm pretty sure.
What you saying, Alex?
2
got
hours
cut already?
Hey, hold on. Hey, look, and this proves to everybody in the chat room I'm telling the truth. As soon as they seen him walk on the court and take one shot, Chilltown, did they look at each other and say, Giannis, look, bro, can't do this shit. We can't.
Hey, but this
motherfucker worse than Yinkadare, man. He's worse than Yinkadare, bro. Get his ass out of here.
That proved my point, Ticket.
Apologize, bro, but he's trash. Period.
Ticket, that proved my point, bro. All I said was, it's not like they're giving him the spot. They're just letting him come in and get it. You know what I'm saying? Get on the camp.
They gave him a contract.
How they get him? Well, they cut him. That's what I'm saying. It ain't no big deal.
Because I was right. Hold on.
You making
because I was right. Because he wasted their time.
He taking food out of somebody's mouth.
He wasted their time. He is. Hold on. Ron understands how this works. Ron, there's only a certain amount of roster spots that they get you when they sign you when you come in. If somebody else who's trash gets that roster, hold on, Bob. If somebody garbage gets that roster spot, that blocks an opportunity for a guy like Ron. That blocks an opportunity for a guy like Shaq. That blocks an opportunity for other guys, or a guy like Dale, or other guys who make him play. You understand what I'm saying? It should be playing, but because we got politics going on, and we got Giannis, whose brother is absolute ass cheeks, that gets a shot because it's Giannis, and he's so bad, Chilltown. The man didn't survive 24 hours, bro. Mars, he's worse than Killian Hayes.
I agree.
Yo, Pirate. Continue with your evaluation of the Bucks going on.
Absolute title contenders. Giannis, player of the ages, one of the greatest, in prime position to have one of his best seasons. Between Lopez, Giannis, and Portis, the Bucks are a team built the way I want to build a team. They got big, long guys, and there's nothing I love more than watching big, long guys get off night after night. The only question would be if they have stamina and hopefully not climaxing before the finals. So.
What are we doing? What's happening right now? What am I involved in?
The only real question.
You just heard him. You heard him.
The only real question I would have.
Hold on. This man just said he like watching big, tall, long black dudes.
No, not tall. Not tall. Ticket long.
Big, long.
That's what he said, Ticket. That's what he said. What
the only real question I would have is obviously the age.
Players Club. Which one is it, dog?
Hey, I'm not trying to find that Players Club.
The only real question, obviously, is going to be the age factor with Lopez, particularly Lopez, Drew, and seeing where Middleton comes back. I think, I mean, in the next 2 to 3 years, I think it will be a big question. This year, I think it'll be last dance-ish. I think they have enough. I mean, Lopez is going to be 36 by the time the playoffs come around, which isn't ideal, but he is coming off still one of his best seasons. I think he'll probably hold up. I think they'll hold up at least for this next year. They have great shooting up and down the lineup. I think I'm going to pick them. I think it's going to be basically a 2-horse race in the East. I want to start putting some skin in the game on these ideas, because Damo gypped me out of the $100 bet last year. So I know Ox has said multiple times that Boston's going to steamroll the East next year. So Ox, if Boston faces Milwaukee, I got $50 on Milwaukee. If you don't accept the bet, I assume you agree with me.
And I'll double down. I have another 52. I would like to put 100, but I know you're not in the best financial situation right now, so I got 50 as well.
First of all, don't be putting my business on the street like that.
Can we chill out on that, Big Ox? Can we chill out on that right there?
Yeah,
right?
yes. Second, I would gladly accept both of those bets, but check it out. If the series is over in 5 games or less, I want 100. I want 100.
And so
I want 100 the other way too. If the Bucks win 5 or less.
No doubt.
All right. So we got 50 straight up, 100 on 5 or less either way.
Yep, sounds good to me.
All right. Any other takers? Mars, I assume you agree with me if you don't take the bet.
I'm gonna be honest, wasn't even listening.
Oh, that's so rude.
Mars, what Taylor Swift song you listening to right now?
I'm not gonna lie, I actually have some Coi Leray in my ears right now.
Oh, okay. All right, chill. The Milwaukee Bucks, how are you feeling about them going into next year?
I think this is a watershed year for Giannis. And the reason why I feel like that is because if we're going to talk about him as the best player on the planet, still, we talking about these dudes in context of them winning. And if Giannis isn't in the NBA Finals at minimum, the 31-13, the 30-14, the 30 or the 29-12, that stuff isn't going to matter if he's not going deep into the playoffs. Now, I'm not concerned with the contract because he's still on the books for the next 2 years. So it's not like he comes off their books after this year. He's still on their books for the next 2 years. Pat Connaughton is on their books for this year. Bobby Portis, he's on their books for I think 2 more seasons. Brook Lopez just re-signed with them. They just re-upped Middleton. Drew Holiday is still on their books. The problem is that this team is aging. So because this team is aging and they're getting a little bit older, the window for them winning is closing. So they have to at least get back to the NBA Finals. I feel like Pat Connaughton and Grayson Allen are 2 guys who have the easiest job in the NBA. All you dudes got to do is make open shots and defend. That's it. You don't have to do anything else except make open shots and defend, because Giannis, Drew Holiday, that's why Bobby Portis is as good as he is, because he's a dirty work guy who can make open shots and defend. And that's because Drew Holiday, that's because Giannis Antetokounmpo, these guys, they create so much traffic and so much attention from other teams that this allows guys like Connaughton, guys like Jay Crowder, guys like Grayson Allen to be wide open and make open shots. And they're going to be the difference in how far these dudes go. Because I already know that Giannis is going to be in great shape. I know that he's going to bring great playmaking, his ability to get to the rim. All of that stuff is going to be there. Same thing with Drew Holiday, because I feel like Drew Holiday is still in his prime. The question is those other guys, because that's Giannis's problem. Giannis is wondering, how committed are these dudes to winning an NBA championship? And if they not, ain't no reason for me to stay here, because my career for the next 5 more years is going to be predicated on me winning. And if these dudes ain't committed to winning, there's no reason for me to stay here. I think that they're going to be right at the top of the Eastern Conference. I think it's going to be either them or Boston. I think this is Boston's year to do it.
All right, Ticket. How are you feeling about the Milwaukee Bucks, and what is your predictions for them next season and in the playoffs?
I don't know, man. They should be in the conference finals, but I don't trust them. I think they will make a move this year. I think they'll surprise. If they win a championship, it's because they're gonna make a move. I think they're gonna make a surprise move and trade somebody like Middleton or Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday.
So what do you think they need?
Ticket ain't that how they got their ticket when they traded Eric Bledsoe for Holiday? So you might be on to something.
Might tell you right now. Holiday says this ain't Holiday's gonna retire in the next 2 years. So I think Giannis is thinking about that, and he's thinking about breaking down of Chris Middleton. I think they're gonna move from Chris Middleton, surprisingly, before the deadline. It depends on who they pick up. I don't know who they're gonna be targeting to pick up, but it depends on who they pick up. For Chris Middleton, I would move Middleton. This would be the end of the road for him. I gave him that contract, so the next team he goes to, he's locked into them. But I think if they want to win a championship, they got to move on from Middleton. I think his injuries situation is very serious, and I think that they should consider that move right now. And Drew Holiday's retiring in a couple of years. They got to get somebody else in there. And they got to get something for. So the Drew Holiday might be the guy that gets traded. They might want to get something for him, knowing that he's going to hang it up in 2 years. He's going towards the end. It shows you last year against Jimmy Butler that he's on the decline now defensively. So I don't see him going nowhere. I don't see him going nowhere but down with his defensive level. It all depends on the move that they make. They will make a move, though. Since Giannis said what he said, trust him and believe they will make a move. It will be Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton, as we all know. I think it will be – I think if Middleton's playing good, but the Bucks aren't looking like a championship team, it may be him. But they may do it with Holiday, knowing he's going to retire, in order to get something else for him a little bit younger that's going to stick longer, that can entice Giannis to want to hang around. I don't think Giannis should leave.
It sound like if you was putting some money on it. It sound like if you was putting some money on it, Middleton is the odd man out. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I will have to say so. Yeah. But I think that they're good enough to make the conference finals. I just think this is going to underachieve this year, man. If they don't get to make a trade, I think, and I don't like making trades, bro, but I think they have to in this situation with the health of Chris Middleton and with the situation going on with Drew Holiday, the decline of him and him getting ready to be out of the league in 2 years. They have to make a move. So I think they make a move. I hope they don't give up too much in that move, like also throwing in a guy like Bobby Portis or somebody else.
No, we ain't doing that. Nah,
big deal.
Can't do that.
I hope they don't do something stupid like that. But like I said, man, as I look at the East, I think the East got weaker. I don't think the East got strong. I think the East got weaker. I don't think that the Boston Celtics are as good as you think they are. I think it'll be Miami again in the conference finals against the Bucks this year. I think the Boston Celtics are going to take the biggest dip. I think they'll probably fall off around 8 to 9 games in the regular season. I don't like Porzingis. I'm not sold on him. I think he'll be an injury waiting to happen this year. And I think that will cause them a lot of games because they gave up Marcus Smart. And that was the heart and soul of their team. And so I just feel like whenever they get in those rough jams again, they don't have that guy like Marcus Smart that can really talk them and get them out of situations like he's done so in the past, stuff that we haven't seen that's been very valuable to the team. And so, like I said, man, with the Bucks, if they make the trade, NBA Finals, with a chance to win the chip, if Giannis turns up, but that team they play out the West is going to be a monster. Whoever it is come out the West that they got to play, so they got to be all the way loaded up. They just got to make a move, bro. That team, if they go with the team right now, they're not winning the chip. If the team they go with right now, if they at best they make it to the NBA Finals. At worst, they're out in the second round. You know what I'm saying? With the team they got now. The conference finals, with the team they got now. So,
and even past this season, so next year, I'm not gonna lie, if they don't make no move, bro, the Bucks would be heading towards a playing team.
Well, that's why I said last dance. Yeah,
this is it right here.
Yeah, I think after this season here, I think there's a high likelihood the window could really be closing. But I think they do have enough. I think they added enough depth to where this year they're still serious contenders.
So we all would agree that Chris Middleton is the biggest X factor for the Bucks, and if not, who else would you choose or say?
X factor,
Adrian Griffin,
AJ Green. I mean, X factor in different ways. It's probably biggest question mark X factor. You could kind of say Middleton may well be a bellwether for the season. As Middleton goes, is probably going to have a big effect on as the team goes. Jay Crowder, is Jay Crowder going to be a significant piece that could be a X factor ish, and just the health of the guys, seeing if the age kicks in or not.
Would anybody else? Does anybody else have an X factor for the Bucks?
I said Adrian Griffin.
Yeah. Who you got, you?
I still think it's Bobby Portis. I do.
I feel pretty confident in Portis.
I'm just thinking about their rotation. I'm just thinking about their rotation, guys, and I'm thinking about how I know that Giannis is going to be Giannis. I think Drew Holiday, he's 33 years old, so it's not a mystery about who he is and how much better he can play. Same logic with Middleton. I mean, Middleton is 32 years old. We're at a point where these guys are who they are. The question is can Bobby Portis give them more than what he's already given them?
Mm-hmm.
Or is he going to go the other way as a rotation guy? And if he could do that, I think that he could be huge for what they're doing. But I do think this is a watershed year for them. They have to make a significant jump. Otherwise, I mean, we got to start having a different conversation about Giannis being the best player on the planet.
So, am I the only person up here that has the Bucks winning the championship in 2023?
Yes, hell yeah.
I do.
You got him too, Pirate?
Run. Bucks are my favorite at this moment. Yeah, I'm
big time.
My gut.
But
what a fake Warriors fan. Interesting.
I try to stay objective with this stuff.
Nah, you're here.
I'm going to be rooting for the Warriors. Every game. I try to stay objective. That would be great to see the Warriors versus the Bucks in the finals, man. I would love that. I got question marks about my squad.
You could be a Toronto Raptors fan and think the Bucks going to win the NBA championship and still root for Toronto.
Like, see me, I got Houston winning the championship. Right. As a fan, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I don't go into any game saying we're gonna lose. As far as I'm concerned, we're going 82-0 and we're winning the championship. And then if we lose a game, then we're going 81-1.
That's not realistic, and you know that's not realistic.
It's not about realism. It's about saying your team isn't gonna lose. You don't pick your team to lose.
Does anybody think that maybe Grayson might be in a position to be a heavier contributor?
He's got number one. He come off the books after this year, so his contract is the most movable of all the guys. He only on the books for like $8 million. That's number one. Number two, he's got the simplest job on the crew: make open shots and defend. So there's nobody on the crew that could have a better upside than him, because he's going to get a lot of open looks. And in terms of defense, you got guys like Bobby Portis, you got Drew Holiday, you got Giannis, who can help him and protect him as much as possible. So I think he can be one of the biggest contributors on this unit. The question is can he do it, and will he do it?
Yeah, I think Grayson Allen. Like, a lot of people hate on Grayson Allen. A lot of people don't like his antics, and I get that. But
He's dirty, Ron. He's a dirty player.
Sure, it's 1,000%. He has a bad track record, and he doesn't help it with the stuff that he does. But Grayson Allen's really not a bad player for this Bucks team, and he's consistently got better in his role. He's scored more. He's defended better. He's just kind of fit in with that group. So, I mean, I expect him to be cool. Pat Connaughton as well. We obviously know, we watch him play for the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah, he could be up and down, but like, you're not, like, if the Bucks are expecting Pat Connaughton to win them games and come in and score 20, they've lost from the beginning. But these are guys that on any given night, they can contribute. They can knock down open shots if they get hot. Also, too, Jay Crowder's going to need to play better. From last year, Jay Crowder is going to have to bring it. But the thing about it is, I'm not too concerned about Jay Crowder either, because they got Bobby Portis. So it's like, if Jay Crowder, you come in, if you playing good, great. If not, bro, get out the game. Bobby, you come in and, do what you need to do. On top of that, I do kind of like the addition of Robin Lopez as well. We haven't talked about Robin, but I think Robin can bring some veteran leadership, and he could play spotty minutes and be solid as a backup big, or if somebody's hurt or anything like that, he can't come and contribute. Arjan, I'm curious to see what steps he's taking, because we just talked about Grayson Allen. We just talked about Pat Connaughton. Some other guys too. Malik Beasley. We
Malik Beasley, I was going to ask. Yeah,
But if any of these guys aren't able to contribute, you have a guy like Marjan that it's like, hey, all right, these guys aren't doing it. Now it's on you. And I mean, I think he's obviously young, but I think he's ready to go right now as a 3-and-D guy. But I think he got a little more than just the 3-and-D too. I think he has a bag that we all haven't got a chance to see. So I'm curious to see how many minutes he'll play, and what he'll be able to contribute, and what his game looks like right now.
Are we not going to talk about the loss of Joe Ingles?
What?
Bring it up.
Wasn't really planning on it, but go for it.
He wasn't a tremendous contributor for them.
Well, you remember he was coming off that ACL still.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it.
Right, I got you. No, I got you.
They didn't really have Joe Ingles, so it's like,
no, that's a fact. Well, so initially I was expecting him to be there. Even last year I thought maybe he was going to bounce back a little quicker. Maybe the age kind of slowed down the rehabilitation of that knee. But I was expecting to be there this year, so I was thinking that they would have some more bench scoring at the wing. But now that he's down in Orlando, I know they didn't have him, so I guess you can't really lose what you didn't have. But
shout out to Joe Ingles, though.
I mean, they got a lot of good shooting up and down that roster, and then with Giannis's role, I think they're gonna. I think they're definitely going to be one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the league this next year.
Yeah, so. And I think Malik Beasley has a bounce back year too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's able to go into Milwaukee. He's not in the spotlight that he was in LA. I think he could really just be who he is, a 3-and-D guy through and through.
Is Joe Ingles even in the NBA? Is he on somebody's roster?
Yeah.
Is he still in Orlando? Okay, I just want to make sure that. So he's in Orlando. Okay. Because he didn't really play much. I mean, he didn't give them significant minutes.
Right.
He was coming off that ACL.
Right.
Was it an ACL or an Achilles?
ACL.
Pretty sure it's
ACL.
All right, fellas. Well, we got super chat, so let's go ahead and get into them. Drink More Water said, as a fan, they need to address the backup PG spot. Look out for Marjan's breakout season. Andre Jackson may surprise. Allen and Pat are expendable.
Particularly,
I'm intrigued by Andre Jackson. Like, very intrigued. I don't know how much he's going to play, but like, I don't want to say Ben Simmons, because like Ben Simmons kind of has the cloud over him. But that's what he reminds me of. Like, he can do everything besides one thing. So like, he's very intriguing to me.
Yeah, for sure. And he is right. Allen and Pat are expendable with Marjan, with Andre Jackson, who you just mentioned, with Malik Beasley. So it's it's going to be interesting to see kind of what happens in that situation. Drink More Water with back-to-back super chat said, also, if you look at all the Bucks transactions over the last 5 years, 80 to 90% of the signings have had their most efficient seasons playing next to Giannis. So don't be surprised if Beasley is good.
I agree with that. That's what I'm talking about with the 3-point shooting. I think there are a lot of players on this team that are set up real well to knock down a lot of threes.
Finesse Lord 21 said, KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr. for Grayson Allen. Bucks get a shot creator off the bench, and Rockets get a shooter and freeze up minutes for Amin, Fred, Jalen Green. Who says no?
We don't need dirty players on our team. Thank you.
You guys that have Grayson Allen and Dylan Brooks. Wow.
Yeah, we've hit our surplus.
It would be to trade for Grayson Allen in that situation. It would be simply a contract down because he come off the books after this year.
Yeah, y'all have dirty players and dirty coaches, Mark.
Yeah, it would be simply a contract.
Guys tend to play well in contract years.
And KPJ's not a point guard at all. Like, by the traditional sense of the word. He's not a point guard. Mm-hmm. He just had to play there to make room for Jalen Green.
G.I. Bam said the Pistons team they building right now is underrated with Duren, the rebounding guy, Stu, the bully, Cade and the sword, the IQ and connecting stars. Poison Ivy cool too, but like Damo said, get him gone.
I'm not getting Jaden Ivey out of here after 1 year. I'm sorry.
No way.
I just don't understand. Underrated. That's the thing that makes me nuts, Mars. Like, where should we be rating these dudes? They were at the bottom of the Eastern Conference last year.
I want to talk, because the last show I was on, there was some serious glazing going on, man. We're talking about a super young, super inexperienced team.
So we're saying the
they
Pistons
won 17 games. They had like damn near the worst offense and defense in the league. They got, I mean, Vegas has them at like 27 games. This is.
You said Vegas has them in 27 games?
27 games.
That's about 27, 28.
Even if they ended up winning 30 games. Like, where should we be rating these guys?
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
as a good up and coming team.
But that's what I was trying to say.
A team with a bright future. That's
what we're doing, though, ain't we?
That's what I was saying, man. Like,
that's it. That's what they're going to do. I'm just saying that's where they need to be rated. That's it.
Right. And I feel like that's what we're doing. It's not like none of us. Well, I know I was.
Except Damo. I'm not
up there saying like the Pistons are a solidified playoff team this year. I'm not doing that. No, but okay. I do think that they're going to be better than the 17 wins they had last year. I do think.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, 17 wins.
New coach, a young and the young talent that they got. I think that they're going to be significantly better than the 17 wins that they had. I do.
But that's the thing. When you win 17, like winning 10 more games is significant, and you're still a 27 win team.
Right. Even a 30 win team, like that's a big deal. To win 13 more games than we did last year, we obviously on to something.
Yeah.
Hey, if they don't win 20 plus games, Monty Williams might get fired already.
No, they begged him to come over there. They paid him $75 million over 6 years. He ain't going nowhere.
I'm talking about after one season. If they got a healthy roster and he don't win 20 games, he's out of there.
Ron,
was good.
Just for the stat heads out there, last year's Pistons team had the lowest SRS in the 76-year history of the Pistons franchise. I mean, They had like the worst offense and the worst defense. This is I really like the Pistons just as like a team and a franchise, and I love it when the Pistons are good. I hope they get better and they get good, but I'm just saying, man, this is the NBA. This is it's either a star-driven or a depth-driven league, and you got to walk before you can run, man. You don't just jump out of the cellar like that overnight.
Speaking of Pistons, Andre Drummond said he's the best rebounder in NBA history. I just want to put that out there. But anyway, go ahead.
That's Moses Malone, man.
Angie Carr said, even Ron Artest knew not to fuck with Ben. Monster.
Yeah, I alluded to that. They mollywopped the Pacers, man. They literally I think Artest shot like 30% for that series. Everyone on the roster shot under 40%. It was ridiculous.
Flip that around. That's how the malice in the palace got. I had the Pacers winning the NBA championship that year because on that opening night they went into Detroit and smoked them. I think that was like game 4. I think they went into Detroit and smoked them. They was up by 20.
I loved Artest, Indiana Artest. I had an Indiana Artest jersey. He was probably my favorite player in the league that season.
Yeah, defensive player of the year, and was averaging 20.
Yeah.
Yo, and on that, I didn't get to comment much on that on that conversation earlier, but it might be another malice in the palace if these two teams play. I can see Rodman doing something to one of the Wallaces, and it's gonna turn it up. Along the road, Smith said Bucks just signed another Giannis brother. Shaking my head, LOL.
He's gonna be on the G League team again.
Isaiah JP said Chill. Said Chill was there when Wilt got drafted.
I was right there. Yep. Wilt went out and celebrated that night.
Fire. Along the road, Smith said Lopez / Antetokounmpo brothers bring the Holiday Bros.
But just everyone on the roster was either Antetokounmpo, Lopez, or Holiday.
There's 3 Holiday brothers. There's 2 Lopez brothers. Yeah. There's 4 Antetokounmpo brothers.
You can damn near make a full roster.
That could be your whole rotation right now. That's your whole rotation.
That's the team right there.
You just put the Morris brothers on there just to make it 11 and then play.
Bring the Morris.
You got twins. Word.
PK the Ruler said, appreciate the 04 Pistons talk, fellas. People forgot how great we were. The hard work, Wall of Wallace, Fear the Fro, Prince of the Palace, Mr. Big Shot era forever in our hearts.
They were awesome. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Absolutely.
If they would have played the Lakers 10 times, they would have beat them 9.
Yeah. Especially that Lakers.
Yeah, that Lakers
which were
team,
cooked.
I think they would have beat them 9.
Marquivian Black with a start bench cut. He got Chauncey, Kyle Lowry, and Sam Cassell. And then he said,
Start Chauncey, bench Kyle Lowry, cut Sam Cassell.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep.
That's what it is.
What? Hold on, what?
Yep.
No, y'all on drugs. Start Big Shot, bench Sam, and cut Lowry. Y'all
You think Sam Cassell is better than Kyle Lowry? You think Sam Cassell is better than Kyle Lowry?
I agree with Ticket.
Yeah, I'm with Ticket on this one as well.
Okay,
I
have to cut someone. I mean, I don't think there's really a wrong answer. I had to cut someone. I just
I think not having Chauncey first would be wrong.
I think Chauncey's one.
I think Chauncey has to be first, and then.
But hold on. But Sam Cassell was better than Caboose, man. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on. We ain't gonna do Sam Cassell. I ain't gonna be quiet about that.
I don't think it's disrespectful to say Kyle Lowry is better.
This is really one of those segments where I'll just say, Chauncey,
is this doing your screen right now? Is he cockeyed or not? All right then.
That's what's called that left eye look tricky. That's the right one. That left eye. The left eye look tricky. Ticket. I can't say with 100% certainty.
You don't think Sam Cassell was better than Kyle Lowry?
Ron.
What's up,
Lowry versus Cassell really just depends on whether you're an ass or face guy.
Nice.
Good one, Pirate. That was a good one.
Yo, on to the next super chat. Irda said, chill. I've never seen Ticket cook you like that. Damn, that was a massacre.
Yes, you did. You see me every time I cook that nigga on LeBron James.
G Life said, my two favorites, Ticket and Chill, going at it about my home team, Detroit Pistons. The best backcourts in the NBA. Finals, 3 MVPs.
Real time. Now, y'all can't do that. What I did to Chill Town, y'all can't do that. And with Chill Town, when he cooked me sometimes, y'all can't do that. This is why we the great ones. You understand what I'm saying? So the only thing y'all can do that. You get a little taste of what y'all got the other day.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why they call them professionals, because it looks simple. It ain't as easy as it looks.
They come up here. They come up here. Correct the one.
Like that. Right to that ass, quick as hell.
Yeah, y'all cool.
Edgy Card said, for Ox, family. Do some emojis in there. You a family man, Ox?
Of course.
I'm telling y'all the truth. Hey, Ox, you a family man?
100%.
I heard you had 10 wives though.
That's a big family.
Big Ox got quiet.
This shit is live. I'm not incriminating myself.
Something funny, honey.
Nate Richmond said he still never answered the question. Ticket, are you gonna answer or not?
I did answer the question. Y'all ain't here when I cooked that boy 3 the hard way. Go ahead, Ron.
Zoe Money said Killian Hayes' disrespect needs to stop.
I gave him a compliment today.
What do you say? Light skin?
Nah, I said he was Detroit's best perimeter defender last year.
Cut it out.
and he passes good with his left hand.
He does. He passes good with his left hand.
He's left-handed, man.
I'm gonna die laughing.
Pass good with his left hand?
I'm gonna die laughing if Killian used this to turn his career around. I'm gonna single-handedly blame Mars for this shit.
If Killian Hayes has a bounce back season, I like the Detroit Pistons.
And then shout Mars out too, by the way, when he do that. Like he'll do it and then shout Mars out too.
See, this is the thing. I don't pray for any NBA players to just be bad to prove me right. Like if they end up becoming good, like congratulations, I'll say they became good. As of now, he's the worst player in the league. It could all change. I don't think he should have the opportunity for it to change. I think he should be out of the league. But if he still has the opportunity and he becomes good, credit to him.
So if you're the worst player in the league in 1 year, what's my trajectory in 1 year?
He could go from the worst to bottom 20. That's perfect.
So I'm still in like in the 80 percentile. That means 4 out of 5 dudes are still better than me.
Yeah.
You'll make that.
Hey yo,
progress is progress, man. I mean,
Morris,
we got a couple new shows coming next week, and I want to just go ahead and shout them out. I want everybody to be on the lookout for these shows. So we got a show coming from Fluent. Chill, I want to know how you feel about this. How you feel about your man getting his own show?
I think it's dope, yo. About time. I was waiting. I was trying to figure out what took so long. Yeah.
I just had to take care of some things on the back end, but better late than never. He finally got it. Fluent show is going to be predicated on top 10s. So could be the top 10 rings of all time, like how we did. It could be the top 10 baseball players. It could be the top 10 mascots, top 10, whatever. You won't know until the episode comes, but it's going to be fire. I can assure you that. We're gonna get Fluent off the leash. We're gonna, we're gonna see him really do his thing and flourish. But also too, next week, we have a Los Angeles Lakers show.
Oh, what?
No, Ox, we don't know what day it's gonna be. It's just next week. Just know that. That's all you need to know, Ox. I don't want nothing else from you.
Wait. Hold on. Chitchat, hold on, wait. Are you talking about we're gonna do the show about the Lakers or PC?
Just like we did about Milwaukee, just like we did about Detroit.
No. Hold on. He's talking about an actual show for the Lakers. Is that what you're talking about, LeBron?
Yeah. It's called Lakerland. PC Lakerland.
Have y'all lost y'all fucking minds?
Oh wait, you mean an ongoing show about the Lakers?
Ongoing show.
The Lakers. Oh. The Lake Show.
We'll talk about his Lakers.
The Lake Show.
That's some bullshit.
What? No Warriors show?
That is some bullshit.
Hey, if y'all would have made it to the second round, maybe we would have had a King show.
Big Ox, can I get an example of some nonsense? Can you tell me about some nonsense, Big Ox?
Did you hear what Ron just said? That's an example of some nonsense. Fucking Lakers show. You know what? If I ain't need this paycheck, boy, I swear to God, I'll quit right now.
I'd rather watch a Pistons show.
Speaking of which, we'll be next week we will be getting into the Pacific Division. And so you know what that means. Obviously, we're talking about the Pacific Division. That means we're talking about the Kings, we're talking about the Suns, the Clippers, the Warriors, and the Lakers. Well, we have some people up here that are fans of those teams. So chill. I need you to tell them to take their fan hat off right now, heading into next week. So it's none of that Pirate. It's none of that Ox. Mars, I know you secretly got some side chicks up in, Northern California. I need you to take your biasness out. It could go either way. When it's an X, you might
particularly Damo, particularly Pirate and Ox, particularly them dudes. Take the fan hat off and put the analyst hat on. That's all I'm asking you to do. Take the fan hat off.
I think we already touched on this a little earlier in the show. I'm pretty objective with this crap.
Take your emotion out of it. I know you love your boys.
I sure as hell wish we would win the championship.
Particularly Ox with the Sacramento Kings and Bullethead.
Yeah, now Ox over here, he's an emotional fella.
Honestly, I don't think I'll be honestly biased about the Kings. I just be right when I made my. I mean, honestly though, if you think about it,
you just said when we talk about the Lakers, you don't even want to be here that day. When you talking about not being emotional.
Oh no, well that's with the Lakers 100%. But with the Kings, I just speak what I believe to be true. I don't be lying. I don't be biased about it. With the Lakers, my mama raised me to where if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So I'll just try to keep it respectable because I don't want to be disrespecting nobody's team. You know what I mean? And El Desto in the chat because you know what I'm saying. Don't watch that Lakers show.
All right, so
hey Ron, I gotta bounce, yo. Big Ox, I will see you tomorrow, fellas. I'll see y'all on Monday.
Yes, sir. I'll check you in the morning.
Out.
See you.
Darren Foss said, never seen a team get bailed like this after losing in round 1 and round 2 back-to-back years. Horrible wing defenders and lacking shot creation. Talking about the Milwaukee Bucks.
No, they got Middleton back now.
T. Wolf said, it's crazy how Ticket want people to listen to him, but he can't even listen to what other people are saying. It's like talking to a wall.
Nah, I like talking to Ticket. He's funny.
Winner said, since you wasn't here in the beginning of the show, Ticket, thoughts on Pat Bev and Light Crown McCants incident? Ticket, you heard what Pat Bev said? Pat Bev, Rashad McCants?
Ticket don't care.
All right, that's that.
Ron,
he answered your
what
super chat.
what do Fluent got on y'all? Fluent must be blackmailing y'all. He get a show and a Lakers show all in the same. This is some. What the hell? What do Fluent got on y'all? I need to know. He got some dirt on y'all. He got
comment.
shout out to
I'll
Fluent
plead the
show.
fifth.
He more than deserves the show. You know what I'm saying? But the Lakers show too. Man, God damn.
I plead the fifth. But Fluent's just a happy man right now. Angie Carr got a couple super chats. She said Ock's favorite movies are the Fast and the Furious series.
Is that true?
Family. Yeah, sure.
It's true. It's true.
Shout out Angie Carter. Go.
She also said, Ticket, the Bucks is owned by Vin Diesel. If you know, you know. Y'all know what she's getting at?
I don't. No.
All right. TC the Don said Mars need quote unquote a dab merchant merch.
I don't think I dab that much.
Marquivian Black said Ticket TV, Mars Talk Sports, Big Ox Bob, Chill, Damo, Ron.
Hello.
Appreciate you, Marquivian. Angie Carr said chill. What rules are they playing? I'm assuming we were thinking now, but I know what you're getting at, Angie. You were saying if the 04 Pistons can use, flagrant fouls and hand checking and stuff like that, it'd get crazy. Gerard Stewart said old head on old head violence.
My knee, my hip.
Anime Lecture Pause said, hey yo, pause pirate. What's happening here?
Oh yeah, pause.
Nice. That was crazy, Pirate. That was crazy.
Eli the Misfit said, what? Question mark. That was in response to Pirate as well.
Pause. Sorry guys, pause.
Crazy, Angie Carr said, pirate like, you'll never take my booty. Arr.
Hey, that's a good one for real.
All right, so I'm gonna shut out the members, and we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here until Monday. Y'all be on the lookout for the thumbnail. The thumbnail will tell you who exactly on Monday that we'll be talking about, which team from the Pacific Division. But
hey Ron, can we also shout out that PC Toon show? The best show on the channel?
Shout out PC.
Do they talk about like old cartoons? Because I like old cartoons.
They getting just about everything when it comes to cartoons. They getting a bag.
Like the best show on the channel?
Yeah. Y'all be sure to go check them out. No doubt about it. PC Tunes Sundays at 4 Eastern. It's a 2-hour show. Y'all tap in. Y'all go show them some love. Like the video, comment, and watch them get in their bag about your favorite cartoons. Ishmael became a member today. Nino, Ed Winning, Cameron Childress, Tyson Thomas. What took you so long, Tyson? Blamps, Jeffrey Bearfield, Dominique TV, and Roosevelt Robinson all became members. Shout out all of our new members. Appreciate y'all. All right, and fellas, on the way out, I just want to play one thing for everybody, and I don't want you guys to forget this over the weekend. Listen up closely.
They got big, long guys, and there's nothing I love more than watching big, long guys get off night after night. The only question would be if they have stamina and hopefully not climaxing before the finals. They got big, long guys.
All right, y'all. We're gonna see y'all on Monday.
Ah,
We out.
shit.